ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Thinking about making a change? You've put in the years and had success, but ready for something more? Well, good news. Little Guys Movers is looking for folks just like you to own and operate their very own Little Guys Movers franchise. From Broadway to Brentwood to Mount Juliet, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com and then make that call.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the Game at 615-737-1025.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
a Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Boy, do I need some Fireball.
I feel like you probably earned it after this week.
It's been a long week.
Being the gossip queen of all of Aaron Rodgers City.
Hey, drinking the
Tea.
No
better combination than some hot tea and some hot Fireball.
The tea. And we got a lot of tea. And I got to say that I've been getting it from all over the place. I've been getting things. You know what's really crazy is when you get a tweet from somebody who sends you something and it's in a language you can't read. And it's like mad. And it's like a Packer logo like in the Twitter and the like mad. So I've had a couple of those. Where it's
Did
like,
you Google Translate it?
no.
Probably
I just
for
let
the
it,
best.
I just let if people want to be mad at me in English. I let them be mad at me in English. I'm not going to go ahead and just all of a sudden get mad at someone because they're mad at me in French.
Probably fair.
Like whatever you want to do, knock yourself out. So I want to start on this. I got called out today on the midday show. I've been getting called out everywhere.
I did hear that on the midday show.
Well, first of all, can I ask you a question?
Huh?
Why am I getting called out everywhere?
Because you stir the pot.
All I did was report factual news. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. All I did. So I'm getting called out everywhere. So I got called out
You
today.
call people out a fair amount, so they can call you out as well.
No.
That's how this works.
I'm not saying I shouldn't be called out. It was just, why?
Because you call them out as well.
Okay, so I can go with this. So the midday show today called me out, and they were mad because I said midday show when I referred to them. So I guess I should change this.
You should add them.
Darren called me out today on the list because yesterday I was talking about the salary cap with Aaron Rodgers, and Darren was like, call us out. You're talking about Willie. That's who you're talking about. Say you're talking about Willie. And honestly, and I say this a lot, the midday show, or I heard them talking about it on the midday show, and honestly, I'm not even sure I thought it was Willie. I just knew that they were talking about it, and I knew they were like, oh, the cap's too much, so I guess it was Willie, who's anti-cap, who's anti-Aaron Rodgers because of the cap. Because, oh, God, the cap. Ian Rappaport just hours ago was on the Pat McAfee show. By the way, I'm starting to like the Pat McAfee show The Pat McAfee Show, which you can hear on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM Channel 82.
Love that channel.
The Pat McAfee Show, Ian Rappaport was asked about the Titans and Aaron Rodgers. Here's what he said about the cap for everybody out there that's worried about it.
The Titans could do it. They would take a big cap hit, but I can't pretend that that's something that would make it like prohibitive. Like that doesn't. It would make it hard. I think it'd be $28 million cap hit.
27 and a half. Yeah.
Would it?
Yeah, 27 and a half. I think we have a full graphic actually. Yeah, there it is.
There you go. So they could do it. And like
baby dirty.
I remember thinking last year that the Rams could never trade Goff because the cap hit was too bad. And then they just did it and dealt with it, got Stafford, paid for him, and just made it work. Like, these guys are so good, they could make it work. Yeah.
Moral of the story. What have we said all week when it comes to the cap?
You can make it work if
They'll
you want to.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
They will figure it out.
But only if you want to.
Sure. That is the
thing.
That's the question. So here we go. Cap. For everybody out there in cap land that's worried about the cap. Ian Rappaport's telling you that it doesn't matter. They'll figure it out. Doesn't matter. Saints are $70 million in the hole.
Who dat?
And he was talking about how he thinks they'll take a big swing at quarterback. It's like, wait a minute, there's $70 million in the hole.
What money?
And it's like, no, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. At the end of the day, they will figure it out, which I have said the whole time. So now that cap is out of the discussion, the only thing left to discuss are draft picks. That's it. Everybody, if it was a binary choice, yes or no, and you were to say Ryan Tannehill or Aaron Rodgers, everybody would pick Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yes. It comes with an asterisk, but yes.
Okay. And the difference is, I'm not sure that's true, though.
Why?
I don't know. I think there's something, as far as the Boohoo Tannehill crew is concerned, that they are just not ready to give up on him. And again, I'm not saying give up on him for Taylor Heineke. I'm saying give up on him for Aaron Rodgers. So the first concern of why they can't do it, for the Willie Donics out there, and I love you, Willie, and I mean it, but for the Willie Donics out there, the first concern, the salary cap, Ian Rappaport tells us.
Figure it out.
They'll figure it out. Second thing is the picks. It's going to be your first-round pick this year, 26. Mm-hmm. It's going to be your first-round pick next year, which you hope is 32. And it's probably going to be another pick. Got a problem with that?
No. And I love picks. Like, I am not one for just dishing out picks like the Los Angeles Rams. But when it means you upgrade majorly at quarterback and you capitalize on your Super Bowl window, then I'm cool with it. And I don't want to hear the whole, well, it doesn't matter because John Robinson can't draft in the first round anyways argument. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. I mean, I think Jeffrey Simmons was picked in the first round. So
yeah,
you can get players in the first round. I mean, I got to be honest with you, I'm way more mad. And I don't know how we sell a draft show if the Titans don't have a first or second round pick this year. Like, I don't know. Like,
that's not good for our business.
Hey, we're going to be live Thursday night breaking down the draft. Oh, really? Are you going to be breaking down the draft? Yeah. When do the Titans pick?
Just everyone else's draft.
When do they pick the next day? They don't until like 11:30 at night.
The sixth round.
Yes. So, no. But I'm way more mad about that second-round pick for Julio Jones than I am if I trade 2 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I'm a lot more mad about that. So, you have no problem with the picks?
No, I'm cool with it.
I have no problem with the picks either. Ian, you got a problem with the picks?
How many picks was it again?
A first, and whatever.
I'm good with it.
Okay. So then what's the big freaking deal?
Well, not everyone is cool with the picks, I guess.
I don't think they care that much about the picks.
Is it the money?
I don't think they care that much about the money.
Then what's the problem?
It's the boo-hoo Tannehill crew.
The idea of it?
That's what I have to believe.
The idea that's kind of been shoved down our throats that it's too hard, so just stick with Tannehill because he's good enough.
So that was what I was first thinking, which is the average person's thinking of the cap. Because remember when Tannehill blew the game, and we said, 95% of people want to get rid of Tannehill after he blew the game?
If not more.
Okay. 95% of the people wanted to get rid of Tannehill the night of, the 22nd? January 22nd at 11 o'clock at night. 95% of the people who support this team wanted to get rid of the quarterback.
Yes.
And immediately, the local media, led by Paul Kaharski, all of a sudden with the cap number's too big. What are they going to get? Trade cap. You give me an explanation here. And all they did. The boohoo cap crew. So now, I kept telling you all, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. All these teams are over the cap. All these teams will figure out how to get under the cap. It doesn't matter. Now, will it make some decisions more difficult? Will you be able to have your Pro Bowl left guard? Probably not. But it doesn't matter. They'll figure it out. Nobody listens to me anymore, even though I'm the most right. So I get Ian Rappaport.
What does that mean you're the most right?
I was right about Clowney. I was right about Carson Wentz. I was right about Julio. I was right on this report that people didn't want to believe because it came from me. I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to put myself into the Hall of Fame, but can I at least get some credit about at least as far as critical thinking is concerned and not just what they say on TV, I believe it. Can I at least not get a little bit of credit for that?
Sure, you can get some credit.
Thank you. So I tried telling you all that the cap doesn't matter, that all the crybaby cap, the boohoo cap crew, like that doesn't matter. Nobody listens to me. So how about Ian Rappaport? Because remember the last time Ian gave us a report that wasn't true and we corrected him and he corrected his report and people still didn't believe me. So Ian Rappaport said on the Pat McAfee show, Titans could be players for Rodgers if they want to be, but that they can make it work for everybody worried about the cap. So if the cap's not the problem, then the picks have to be the problem, right?
Is it?
I mean, they are an issue. That is a lot for who knows how long for Aaron Rodgers.
I know, but like at the end of the day.
So some people are reserved on that.
2 first-round picks?
But what if it's 2 years with Aaron Rodgers and you win a Super Bowl? Isn't that worth 2 or 3 first-round picks?
I'll give you my last 2 first-round picks. You can have Caleb Farley and Isaiah Wilson.
We can guarantee the Super Bowl. We'll sign up for it.
And you can't guarantee it, but it at least gives you a much better shot.
And I still think now, like if we were to say, hey, do you all want Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback? We get a whole thing of phones that are like, no, because of the cap. Even though we told you that the cap doesn't matter. Cap doesn't matter. Picks do matter. I mean, I am not here telling you that the picks do not matter and that you can't get players out of that. And I'm not telling you that Robinson's going to blow it because Robinson's blown it the last 2. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying I'm willing to sacrifice the picks for Aaron Rodgers. I was watching the East-West Shrine game last night. Did you see that on TV?
I did not.
What were you doing last night?
Just hanging.
Ian, did you see the East-West Shrine game on TV last night?
Can't say I did. I'm sorry.
Do I even work with football fans anymore?
I saw a little bit of the Pro Bowl skills thing for a quick minute, but
I did see that.
What?
I saw the wide receiver Pro Bowl drills.
You know, in my old life, we used to have somebody glued to the television during Senior Bowl practice on NFL Network with their mouth open the whole time, just like glazed at the television. And now even the East-West Shrine game. But the point I was making was I saw the little Bucky Brooks mock draft at the bottom, and it's like Detroit 32. And I'm like, oh, because they have the Rams pick. Whatever.
I was about to say, what?
Whatever. If you get Aaron Rodgers, you're probably picking like 28th, 30th, 32nd next year. So if the picks aren't a big deal, then what's the big freaking deal? I want to take some phone calls today. It's been a long week. I'm wearing a T-shirt today. Let's go ahead and take some calls. 615-737-1025. Let's get some texts. 615-737-1025. And this is the question I have. If the cap works out, which Ian Rappaport said it would, and if the picks, first round, second round, maybe another, or a first rounder, 2 first rounders and something else, then what is the big deal that would keep you from wanting Aaron Rodgers? 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. And is it the Boohoo Tannehill crew? Plus, a crazy part about the Aaron Rodgers trade, for whoever makes it, that I don't think people are really understanding right now, and I'm not even sure if the Titans do. We'll get to that next. Fireball Hot Take Friday, Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robbie and Rexo, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 sofas, sectionals, and mattresses are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery. All furniture at Social is top quality solid woods and designer fabrics. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Buy local, support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
The National Wild Turkey Federation's 46th Annual Convention and Sports Show is February 16th through the 20th at Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Celebrate a year of conservation success with the National Wild Turkey Federation members, volunteers, and partners. You can expect the same great nightly events, quality entertainment in the watering hole, and the latest gear from more than 350 companies featured in their exhibit hall. For more info, go to nwtf.org.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Hey everybody, Robbie Stanley here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's. Jasper's is a casual restaurant and bar located on West End Avenue, equipped with TVs, a game room available for private events, a grab-and-go market, and free parking. Yes, free parking. This neighborhood spot is Nashville's new go-to restaurant and bar. You can try their selection of elevated bar food ranging from appetizers to chicken sandwiches to flatbread pizzas and the famous Smash Burger, as well as any of their delicious cocktails. So visit my friends at Jasper's, located at 1918 West End Avenue, and tell them that Robbie sent you.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
How do you think that whole thing is landing right now, and what are you hearing from around the league when everybody's drunk at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, the Nashville thing was interesting because, you know, if he's buying a house, like, first of all, he's 38 years old, so buying a house after he leaves Green Bay and retires, or whenever he's done with the NFL, whichever team he's playing for, that makes sense. Sounds like Nashville is quite a hot place to live. And I know that because when I was down there for the draft, I basically called my wife and said, "This is the greatest place ever. We should move here." And she started looking at real estate, and oh my God, she wanted to move there. Yesterday. But it didn't happen. So Nashville makes a lot of sense.
Hey, NFL Network, can you pay this one time? I mean, geez.
No, anyway. Nashville's a lovely place. You walk around, there's music coming out of the bars, and everyone's drinking. I mean, they have a lot of bachelor parties there, it seems, which is not really for me, but some people like that kind of thing.
Sure.
I don't know that has any material influence on anything as far as where he plays. Like, I guess it is possible that he asked for a trade. It is possible, and I honestly do not know what he's going to do.
There you go. That was Ian Rappaport on the Pat McAfee Show, talking about, oh, my God, my wife loved Nashville. Then we looked up real estate, and it didn't happen. So there you go.
It's a great place to live.
Let me tell you something. Well, we've talked about this off the air. I literally, because I'm anticipating that in 5 years you will not be able to buy a house in Nashville.
Probably not.
Or you'll have to go to the
suburbs.
Not even the
the boonies.
Yeah, the ones that there are places like Rex Road lives in a part of town where when I was a kid, it was like, when we had to go out there, it was like, that's a far drive. And now, like, people live there every day.
Yeah.
That, like, live in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought a house a couple of months ago that I'm not even interested in the house. Like, I rented it out.
Just the land?
The land.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I just don't
It's
think
so
it's going to be.
valuable.
I just don't think you're going to be able to do that. So, look, I'm not saying that means anything, but I will say this. I am convinced that the Boohoo Tannehill crew is using things like salary cap, which we have now said doesn't matter because Ian Rappaport told us that, and draft picks. We said 2 number ones and something else in order to make an Aaron Rodgers trade. I am convinced that the Boohoo Tannehill crew ultimately feels in their heart that Tannehill is better than, or not better than Rodgers, but that they don't need to upgrade from Tannehill to Rodgers in order to compete. And all I would say to you is look at a Bengals jersey that has a Super Bowl patch on it, and you tell me how you feel. Because I do think there are a lot of people out there that have forgiven Tannehill for the Bengals game and are now like, hey, you know, he was kind of good a couple years ago. And so I cannot hear any of that. I think we need to understand we're talking about Aaron Rodgers here. But again, my theory is about the people. It's not really about what I think, because everybody knows what I think. And honestly, it's not really about what you think, because I think everybody knows what you think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's how a lot of people think. And I don't know if this is how the Titans think, but maybe it is.
But that's what's so hard is we don't know. We don't know if they'd be open to it. We don't know what they have heard. We don't know if they would be influenced by the chatter. We just don't know.
So there's an interesting element of the Aaron trade that I want to get to, and I did tease it, but I did promise phones, and I do want to take phones. So let's just do that. It's Fireball Hot Take Friday, 615-737-1025. Then we'll get to that. Jerry is going to kick us off today on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, my thing, the thing that I'm worried about is, you know, people are going after Rodgers and Russell Wilson, and if you look at the history, like this year, Aaron Rodgers in the playoff game, I think they got 65 yards or something like that in the entire second half against San Francisco. Last year, they turned over Tampa Bay 3 times in the second half, and he couldn't do it. He hasn't done anything either. And Russell Wilson, the offense for the Seattle Seahawks for the last 2 years has been horrible. So if you're going to like leverage the farm, so to speak, you know, to get those two, I don't really see the point. They're not.
Hey, Jerry, what did
as
Matthew
great
Stafford
as
do
they
for
have
12
been.
years? What did Matthew Stafford do for 12 years in Detroit?
Well, that's Detroit. You're talking about two.
Okay, and where is Matthew
franchises
Stafford
there.
now
Yeah.
since he went to a better team?
Well, Green Bay's had the best record in the league the last 2 years. I mean,
Okay,
that's
but
a
do you
better
think
team.
Green Bay has a better
Seattle
roster
was a
right
better
now?
team.
Seattle's not a better team than the Titans. Do you think that Green Bay has a better roster than the Titans right now?
Yes, they had a better.
Why?
They had as good a defense and a better offense.
Okay.
The last.
So
2
I'm talking
years.
about roster. I'm not talking about quarterback. You got to take the quarterback out of this. I appreciate your call, Jerry, because he does make a good point. I don't want to ignore the point, which is Rodgers is not Brady. He is notorious for choking. So if you think that by adding Aaron Rodgers, you are guaranteed to go to the Super Bowl and you are guaranteed to win the Super Bowl, I don't think that's true. I mean, there's a reason they play these games. And Rodgers, did he choke this year? I think he did.
Yeah.
I know they got a field goal blocked. I know they got a punt blocked. I get that. But, Aaron, go score more points against San Francisco.
Yes.
That's the end of that. So I'm going to say, yeah, he blew it. And I can't remember the NFC Championship game last year. I remember LaFleur.
Pretty sure he did lose. I just don't remember how he lost.
I remember LaFleur screwed up the clock before the half and allowed Brady to throw a touchdown pass to Scotty Miller. And LaFleur on a 4th down kicked a field goal down by 8, late.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. It was
have
what are you doing?
People have not forgiven Matt LaFleur for that.
No, because that was not very smart.
And I think there's probably a reason to do that. And so I guess, I think Rodgers is probably a choke artist, honestly.
Yeah.
I think he is a little bit. So, but I'm willing to take the risk. I mean, we're going to talk about choke artists. We're talking about Ryan Tannehill's 0-3 in his last 3 playoff games.
And that's another thing is, well, people would say, well, if you're upgrading for a playoff quarterback, why would you upgrade to a quarterback who's, equally as likely to choke in the playoffs?
Well,
but
Rodgers lost 2 hours after Tannehill did.
Yeah.
But I think Rodgers is a better quarterback. I think we would all agree.
Yes.
And 2, I think at the end of the day, like Tannehill's team lost because of Tannehill. Rodgers' team didn't win because Rodgers didn't do more, but in reality, they didn't lose because of Rodgers.
It's fair.
They lost because they completely threw up on themselves. What do we have in the text line? 615-737-1025.
Daryl's ripping you apart a little bit. You ready?
Dude, everybody is mad at me today.
Yeah,
I just don't. Can I say something without people without people thinking that oh, Jared's a crybaby, which they're going to think whatever they think. But why is everybody mad at me?
I think that's just kind of people just have a tendency to be mad at you.
Why? Why?
Well, I mean, you call people out a lot.
Like who?
The Midday Show, for example.
Yeah, but I mean, all love for them.
I know. You call out Robbie and Joe a lot.
All love for them.
Yeah.
Joe calls us out all the time.
You call out some other people as well.
I mean, look, sometimes you got to get called out, man. Hey, this is my theory on all this, right? This is sports. So it's not like it's politics or any, whatever. It's sports. And when I say something that's an opinion, it's like, that's my opinion, I had it. And people will be like, I hate you. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't, that was my opinion.
I hate you too.
I mean, but I don't.
I know.
What's Daryl all mad at?
Daryl says, your thinking is far from critical, Jared. You have devoted zero discussion or research into the offseason effort that a coaching staff is required to invest in improving their players. Playing a quarterback $30 million should come from an understanding that we will do all that the Titans staff can do to get the value for our investment. While it is obvious that we didn't see the very best Tannehill has to offer this season, it is not obvious that his accuracy and decision-making cannot be improved by intensive coaching focus. It's not the playground, it's a business.
Okay, so to the point, Texter said that I don't put in time thinking about the offseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
In front of me, Jared's offseason Titans plan for last year. And this was right before free agency opened up. Number 1, I'd restructure Tannehill for $6 million, not the full 24, because I didn't want to be handcuffed the next year. Lower Ben Jones's base salary, which I would have done. I would have threatened to cut him if I didn't. I would have let Corey Davis and Jayon Brown walk. They let Davis walk. They should have let Jayon Brown walk. My first offer was to Trey Hendrickson of New Orleans. Last time I checked, Trey Hendrickson had a great year in Cincinnati and will be unable to play in the Pro Bowl right now because Trey Hendrickson is going to
the Super Bowl.
Okay. Then I would make the offer to Dietrich Wise, a defensive lineman from New England. I'd made an offer to Parnell McPhee, an outside linebacker. Inside linebacker, David Long Jr. replaces Jayon Brown. Amani Hooker replaces Kenny Vaccaro. Christian Fulton replaces Malcolm Butler. Make offer to Gerald Everett, tight end, 4 years, $28 million. Make offer to Marvin Jones Jr., 2 years, $13 million. And I think he signed 2 years, 12 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right there I've done all that. That was last year. Last year I was doing all of this every day with all of you, cutting this, getting that, doing this, doing that. Tannehill can't cut the mustard. And so that's why I've spent all my time thinking quarterback. Because I'm not sure it matters if you don't fix quarterback. But again, that's not what the Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew thinks. The Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew is, you got to help him. You got to get better around him. You got to.
We've got a lot of Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew-ers in the comments.
Let's get to those in a second. 615-737-1025. We'll do that after these words. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 6, we go behind the glass with current and former Predators players, along with coaches and broadcasters for Smashville Live.
Yost, Hal, and I were just talking about last night's game. It was a big game for us.
Presented by New Amsterdam Vodka, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Red Spirits and Wine on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Regions helps you keep money in perspective with financial tools and guidance. Learn more at regions.com/live-in-the-moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
At Copper Branch, they live life to the fullest. Food is your energy and your life. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, their goal is to serve you, your friends, and family quality, great-tasting, plant-based power foods. Visit Copper Branch at 601 Church Street for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with convenient and validated parking during library hours, and download their app for curbside pickup. Or come out for songwriter and live music nights several times throughout the week to empower, energize, and feel your best. Visit Copper Branch today.
These few weeks that encompass Valentine's Day are often a time of intimacy, a time for lovers. But erectile dysfunction can put a serious damper on your relationship. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you have ED, you know exactly what I'm talking about. ED hurts relationships by often causing friction and frustration because most couples don't even know why ED is happening. But the truth is that ED is just a disease like any other. And fortunately, it can be effectively treated at the Tennessee Men's Clinic with protocols that have success rates as high as 90%. In fact, the treatments we offer could have you lasting up to an hour. And if you're like many men, you could even have great sex the day after your appointment. So this Valentine's Day, give the one you love something truly special and do something about your ED. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is new Vanderbilt head coach Jerry Stackhouse. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
But like Ryan Tannehill, everything this week is, Tannehill's got to go. Tannehill's got to go. How do you look at that as a player? Do you listen to that? And do you think people are crazy, like, get off Tannehill's back?
Yeah, man. So me personally, I don't necessarily just sit up at the house and watch like NFL Network or ESPN, those type of things. But obviously, you know, we all have social media. We have Twitter. So I can get on Twitter, and that's pretty much like my news. That's like my CNN, my ESPN, everything. So, yeah, of course we see it. I mean, even last year, 2020, I didn't have my best year. And towards the end, like right at the end of the football season, everybody was saying, Kevin Byard has the worst contract on the team. We should think about getting rid of him and things like that. So I see that type of stuff. Does it bother me to a certain extent? Because, I mean, not necessarily, because most people that's writing these things and things like that, they don't necessarily know the game of football the way I know it, at least. But yeah, even the whole Tannehill thing, I mean, I think it's just super tough because as an athlete, we are harder on ourselves more than anybody else would be. And after the game, I think he stayed at the stadium for a few hours, like, because he was beating himself up about the game. And I understand it, but at the end of the day, like, I think when it comes to as far as fair weather fans, I'm not talking about your diehard Titans fans or whatever, people take for one performance and decide that, hey, this guy is sorry, he's trash, we don't need him anymore, but forget all the good that he's done since he's been here in 2019. I think if you look at stats-wise, he's probably one of the top Titans quarterbacks in our history as far as stats and things like that, man. He's took us to the playoffs every single year. So, I mean, obviously, yes, he didn't play his best game. I think when you lose, nobody played their best game. But at the end of the day, man, we're going to ride and die for Tannehill. I love him as a quarterback. I love him as a person. And hopefully he'll be here next year and help us try to, get this thing right and take us to the Super Bowl.
There you go. That was Kevin Byard. Ian, I'm sorry. Do we know the name of the podcast that he was on?
Sore Losers Podcast.
Oh, that's a perfect one for this. I mean, add him as a member to the Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew.
But also, do members of the Titans, is that really fair? Don't they have to be members of the Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew?
Wasn't that like a really, and I told you while we were listening to that, like, what a nice guy.
He is such a nice guy.
Like, what a nice guy.
He's a good guy.
But yeah,
also,
there was a lot of boo-hooing in there.
Well, he also gets paid millions of dollars to be in the Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew.
And in all fairness, he did try to make it about him. You know,
Yes.
like, hey, last year people were mad at me, but yeah, no.
That's a tough position.
he's
Because
in
what is
the-
he going to come out and say? Yeah, you know what, Ryan Tannehill, can't stand him. Get me a new quarterback. No, he's not going to say that.
I know, but if you really didn't want to say something, you'd be like, hey, football's a team game, and we lost that one as a team.
But they didn't.
But that's what you would say.
But that's not what happened.
He beat himself up. He beat himself up after the game for 2 hours.
I don't mean to sound insensitive, but good.
Yeah, like you should be.
You should be upset. You should be frustrated with yourself.
So I stole, one of my buddies at the radio show, they do like the Boo-Hoo whatever crew. So this is where we got the Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew from.
I like it.
I told him, I said, we now have the Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew. And he said, and who in the hell in their right mind would be defending that guy at this point? ? Yeesh. So that's how other cities feel.
Boston
about
sports
Tannehill.
fans are so incredibly ruthless. I love it.
No, I told you when I lived up there, and I'd listen to talk radio.
Mm-hmm.
Like the callers, they lost to the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. This was when Floyd was still with the Patriots, and they lost to the Ravens. And I remember like the phones were like, yeah, it's time to move on from Brady, and it's time for Bill to move on, and it's time for us to make Ryan Mallett the quarterback. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, yo, my team has Jake Locker and Mike Munchak as coach and quarterback. Like, this is not, like, these people are crazy. But to that point, they're saying who in their right mind would defend Tannehill?
I mean, if you get out of Nashville, it feels like a pretty no-brainer.
Oh, God. Mike Tannenbaum, Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew. Chris Sanders, Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew. Lawan, Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew.
But what?
Fired, Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew.
What Tannenbaum
Vrabel,
was saying.
Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew.
But also, Vrabel doesn't have a choice. Robinson
and
has
the
a
text
choice.
line.
And our YouTube commenters, for the most part.
The YouTube people are mad.
YouTube people are Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew. But it's fun in the YouTube and the Twitter and all our stream chat because they can respond to each other. And so they just fight in the chat about Ryan Tannehill's good. No, he's not. He's the worst. Who's better? I don't know. That's not my job. It's fun. It's fun to see the back and forth.
See, that's why I'm glad that you do this. Because
Yes.
my third grade brain would be like, well, hey, look, something colorful.
Shiny ball syndrome.
Let's go to your phones because it's Fireball Hot Take Friday, and I'm in the phone mood. Eli up next on Sacks. Go ahead, Eli. Thank you for calling the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, I was just calling to say that Tannehill was sacked 47 times throughout the season, and Aaron Rodgers was only sacked 16. So if Aaron Rodgers was sacked more than 30 times, I don't think he would have had as good a QBR as Ryan Tannehill did. And even though 3 picks in the playoff games is not acceptable at all, I think it's a matter of protecting the quarterback and not a matter
Hey, Eli,
of
how many sacks did the Titans get in their playoff game?
9.
And why did that not affect the outcome of the game?
Because Ryan Tannehill wasn't getting it done, and I said it wasn't acceptable for that one game. But throughout the whole season, man, he was doing great. For what he had third stringers and free agents to play with all year and not his starting wide receivers, man.
Okay, I appreciate your call, Eli. Do you think Tannehill played great this season? Take the playoff game out of it, which I think is the crux of the issue here.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and take that out. Do you think Tannehill played well enough this year?
No. I do not.
I don't either.
And I understand that there were players that were injured, and I understand that he was working with probably, third and fourth stringers and practice squad players. I hear that. I get it. But even when Ryan Tannehill had some of his best weapons before Derrick Henry got hurt, he wasn't playing well enough.
They lost to the freaking Texans.
They lost to the
an entire
Jets.
team of fourth string players.
Yeah.
Like
they don't have a quarterback.
An entire team of fourth string players with a rent-a-coach. I mean,
and even when they did beat the Texans, they made Danny Amendola look like
right, and I meant to say,
Adams.
I meant to add that old P-Pops from the grave came up and
Danny Amendola's 75 years old
and just balled out. But again, he played well in the second Texans game. But they lost to the freaking Texans. He threw 4 picks. It's like people are sitting there saying, like, hey, Tannehill's playing with third and fourth string guys. What do you expect him to do? Patriots game. We have not complained about the Patriots game. One time, he didn't throw for 100 yards. He had an interception, but we're not mad about that interception.
No.
It was 4th down at the goal line. Ball had to come out. It was a stupid play call. And we have not thrown him under the bus for that. I think that we have graded Tannehill fairly this year, and we've graded him poorly because he stunk. And then when it really mattered, when you can't make the third and fourth string excuses because Julio Jones played and A.J. Brown played, and even though he wasn't 100% healthy, Derrick Henry played, and the defense was healthy, and you had a bye week, he sucked. And now the point about, well, Tannehill got sacked so many times and Rodgers didn't, I am convinced of this, and maybe I'm in the wrong here. I think the problem with Tannehill getting sacked so much is that Tannehill doesn't care about getting sacked. I think these other quarterbacks, like Brady and Manning, like the veteran guys that don't move around much, they just get the ball out.
Yeah.
Like they're not screwing around like, oh, I think I'm about to get sacked. Ball's in the ground at somebody's feet.
Like
I
you
don't
brought
care.
up Peyton Manning.
No, Peyton, that ball was gone.
He did not want to get hurt.
At the end of Rivers' career, Rivers literally, if he didn't see it, like spiked it right in the feet of a running back. Tannehill is always trying to hang on.
But if we say that, then we can't really use the explanation of, Tannehill almost got broken in the Cardinals game because he got sacked so many times. Because if he doesn't mind getting sacked, then that's not going to spook him in the long run.
But it definitely spooked him.
It definitely spooked him, but then you can't say that he doesn't care about getting sacked.
No. I mean, he gets spooked. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he was spooked before he even stepped into the stadium against the Bengals. That first throw, I mean, that was like a guy.
He was shaking in his boots.
That was like a guy going on his first date.
Yeah.
That was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, dude, you've done this.
Freaking out.
You've done this. You know what's crazy? Is if you put on the Ravens playoff game from last year, which Tannehill was not great in, but if you put on the first drive of the Ravens playoff game and you watch Tannehill play quarterback, you will be like, is that guy on this team?
Is this their backup?
I mean, he truly in that Ravens game, the first drive, it was like AJ, someone else, AJ in the end zone for a touchdown. And he looked like a sniper. And then this game, he's like, I don't know.
Indecisive. Apprehensive.
Played scared. Played scared. For a guy who's been in the league for 10 years. $38 million cap hit that you all are telling me you're fine with instead of Aaron Rodgers. What are we doing?
It feels like a no-brainer. But I feel like we're, maybe not we, but I feel like Titans fans are making it so much more difficult than it needs to be. It doesn't have to be that difficult. Was he the reason why you got bounced in the playoffs? Yes.
It's like
there's no way around it.
It's like the Snoop Dogg thing when Snoop Dogg was like, talking about Jeff Fisher getting fired and how Eric Dickerson was critical and then Jeff Fisher kicked him off the sidelines. And Snoop Dogg was like, Fisher shouldn't get offended. He should do a better job or get up out of here. And it's like, that's how I feel.
Do a better
you
job.
All shouldn't defend Tannehill. You all should think, hey, he needs to do a better job or get up out of here.
At the end of the day, you don't owe Ryan Tannehill anything.
No.
He owes you everything.
Yeah, you know what we call that on this show?
What?
Pay what you owe.
True.
615-737-1025. Back to your phones on it. 615-737-1025. Let me state for the record, though, that I do want to get into this, into the Doug Peterson stuff.
Yes.
So we will do that. And we'll get into the triangle of a Rodgers trade thing that I really, really want to talk about. But it's your day because it's Fireball Hot Take Friday, so we'll get to those. TriStar Moving, my official movers. They got some love on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. I actually texted my buddy Garrett over at TriStar, and I was like, yo, that TriStar Moving logo has been everywhere. And I hope a lot of people have been Googling TriStar Movers because they're great movers. And they moved me over a year ago, and it was a fantastic move. Everything was taken care of. The hassle of moving, which I absolutely hate, taken out of because of TriStar Moving. That's why their motto is TriStar Movers with 5-star service. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving was a breeze. They offer home protection, so they cover your floors, banisters, railings, door jams, and even the doors themselves. They have a state-of-the-art storage facility in Mount Juliet because they do it all. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, are true Nashvillians who truly care about helping their hometown, and their company is the real deal and on the rise quickly because of the high standard they hold and because we have their logo in the back of our live stream, and that live stream has now been everywhere this week. So if you're looking to move, give my friends at TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit their website, nashvillemoving.org/radio, where they'll give you 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Chilly this afternoon, only a high of 33 degrees. Overcast skies should give way to at least a few streaks of sunshine, but the sun doesn't return until tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics. If you have painful joints, arthroscopic surgery may be the cure to solve your pain. Arthroscopic surgery is minimally invasive and provides faster recovery time. The experienced doctors at Houston Clinic Orthopedics may be able to get you feeling back to normal with an arthroscopic surgery of your knee, shoulder, hip, elbow, wrist, or ankle. Each of the 10 locations in Middle Tennessee has an arthroscopic surgeon that can determine if this type of surgery is the best option for you. Visit tn.houston.com to learn more and to book an appointment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics. When experience matters.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, Program Director at 102.5 The Game, and when our crew is out, we want to look our best. Thankfully, we have Authentically American taking care of all of our apparel. The way your team looks is everything. Enhance your company's image with the help of veteran-owned and operated Authentically American. For you parents out there, they'll take care of your kids' team apparel too. It's Authentically American, and yep, it's made in America. Check them out at authenticallyamerican.us. Mention the game and they'll handle the setup and artwork free of charge. That's authenticallyamerican.us.
If you missed the latest edition of the Preds official podcast.
She's an NHL analyst and a gold medal winner for the United States. AJ Malesko is kind enough to join us.
Can you even kind of put into words what that rivalry is like for these girls? Team USA, Team Canada. You know, both are coming off. You just mentioned the women won 5-2. We know Canada routed Switzerland 12-1. What is the competition level like when these two teams face off?
It's so heated anytime these two teams meet. They could be in a pond hockey somewhere in the middle of nowhere with no fans, and it's heated. It's competitive. It's for pride. It's for, and people say, you guys hate each other. And we don't hate each other, but we hate losing to each other, right? And I have such respect for them, and I think that this rivalry has honestly push this sport to such incredible heights.
Search Preds official podcast today on your favorite podcast platform. The newest edition releases every Saturday at 8 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and NashvillePredators.com. Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
That's multiple sources. TriStar Moving, Stillman Company, 102.5 The Game in Nashville. That is a lot of news there, AJ. As best friend of Aaron Rodgers, your take on old Cuzzy there, who's given us a lot of goods.
Yeah.
That guy's giving the sports world a lot of goods, a lot of sources, a lot of inside information.
The first two things, he's not lying, right? Or he might not be lying. He said he's building first off, he contradicted himself when it says he purchased a home. It said at the bottom, and then he says he's building a home. The guy says, okay, that's two different things right there. Okay. And then he said he would be open, air quotes, open to joining the Titans. Yep, just like he'd be open to every other team in the NFL, I believe. So
except for
I guess the fact that they do tie him there, I don't know.
And then his last one with
last
another
thing,
source?
yeah, of course. You have 90 teammates. You can talk to one dude, hey, you think Aaron will come back? No chance, man. Boom, you run with it.
Okay, thank you for putting all of those to bed. And I think the difference between buying a home and building a home.
There's definitely not zero chance that Aaron goes back to Green Bay, though. We all know that.
There you go.
Do we all know that?
AJ Hawk on the Pat McAfee Show. By the way, you're the one that got called out on that, Caroline.
I did?
Well, you get the call because it's like, well, he's saying that he bought land, but the bottom says he built a house. Oh.
That is on me, I guess.
Well, I mean, like, seriously.
Well, if he's buying land, that means he's probably going to build a house.
I mean, my thing is, when I heard AJ Hawk doing that, like that,
like
of
nitpicking,
like, that level of deflecting, I was like, okay. He obviously doesn't want to talk about this.
Right. And with the, he could go somewhere else or he could retire. What is it?
Yeah, it's like, and he's like, he's not lying. I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, there, done.
You told us all we need to know.
All we need to know. Let's go back to your phone. 615-737-1025. Jeremiah on Ryan Tannehill. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Thank you for taking my call. I'll try to make this quick. The best analogy I can think of, and that's because I'm a veteran, if the Titans were in combat, Tannehill would get his whole squadron killed. The best thing the Titans can do is give Tannehill a blanket party and send his ass on his way.
Wow. Hot take. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Thank you for your service.
Hot take for the Fireball Hot Take Friday.
I love it. I love that everyone's getting fired up about this. He's not wrong.
By the way, I got something that I'm going to, Joe got all mad today on the morning show and was like, tell us who would take Tannehill, Jared. Tell us who would. And got all worked up.
But that's also
I'm going to address that later.
An interesting question
no,
because.
It's not.
But is Joe admitting the fact that nobody would want Tannehill?
Oh, no. Joe and Robbie, this is my interpretation of what they've said. Because a lot of times what happens with anything, but especially sports radio, is you say something, then somebody says, well, Jared Stillman said, and then the person gets mad, and then whatever it is they're mad about is not actually what I said. So when somebody tells me that somebody said something bad about me, I go back and listen to it before I then get mad about it. Most people get mad about it before they listen to it, but I've been through this too often. So I don't want to throw Joe and Robbie under the bus here.
Okay.
But I do get the feeling that Joe and Robbie are both out on Tannehill. Like that if it were just the binary choice, before we get to the cap, which Ian Rappaport told us doesn't matter, before we get to the cap, and the draft picks, which you and I don't care about right now. I mean, we care about draft picks, but we don't care about losing draft picks in order to get Aaron Rodgers.
It's something I'd be willing to do in order to get Aaron Rodgers.
If it was just a straight decision of Rodgers or Tannehill, Joe and Robbie, well, I mean,
no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
But I think Joe is actually kind of down on Ryan Tannehill. I don't want to put words into his mouth, but I think my interpretation of how he has discussed Tannehill is I do feel like he's down on Tannehill, which, as you have noticed, it would be very easy for me to include Joe into the boohoo Tannehill crew.
You have not.
But I'm not doing it because I don't think he's there. Chris Sanders, he's there.
President.
When you start talking, this is the number one thing of the boohoo Tannehill crew. And they may be right, honestly. But it is, think about what the Titans were before Tannehill. And I'm like, yes. And that was before Jeffrey Simmons returned from a knee injury. It was before Bud Dupree and Danico Autry showed up, before David Long Jr. became a factor, before all these things. The only thing that you had was Derrick Henry. That was it. And again, just because Mariota stinks doesn't mean that Tannehill's great.
And just because...
And I totally took that cheese, by the way.
And just because Tannehill is better than what you've had in the past doesn't mean that he's the answer.
What do we have in the text line? 615-737-1025.
One texter texts in and says, I hear all this about all the good that Tannehill has done. Yes, he's done a lot of good, but are we playing for a regular season success? I thought the Super Bowl was the end game.
So here's the other thing, too. Josh Allen lost in the divisional round of the playoffs. But nobody in Buffalo questions Josh Allen. Like,
Correct.
Nobody looks at him and thinks, can we win with this guy?
Because they were a coin flip away from the AFC Championship game.
But even then, had they lost that game fair and square, had they lost that game, nobody would be questioning Josh Allen. Nobody questioned Josh Allen after last year. I mean, people around the country question Lamar Jackson, but I don't think anybody in Baltimore thinks that quarterback is a problem on their team. Like, nobody questions those guys. Here, Tannehill has been subpar for so long, and we've made excuses for it, or we've allowed it because he played okay under Arthur Smith. But in the playoffs, subpar for so long that it's like, no.
It's not a one-game reaction.
No, it is not.
This is accumulation of a lot of mistakes that Ryan Tannehill has made, and that was the cherry on top.
It is not a one-game thing with him. Just like it's not – look at the teams that lost the same weekend that the Titans did. Buffalo lost, no problems with their quarterback there. Green Bay lost, no problems with their quarterback other than the fact that their quarterback doesn't want to come back. Tampa Bay lost. No problems with that quarterback. Only here. Like, I was listening to a show somewhere else yesterday, and they were talking about making a young quarterback, like trying to make him a game manager and get him a good running game. And, and the guys that were on the air were like, the only teams that do that are the teams that can't throw. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then the other guy goes, yeah, look at Tennessee. And I was like, yep, that's where you're at.
That's exactly where you're at.
What else we got?
One texter texts in and says, it's not about guarantees. It's about doing the best you can to get to a Super Bowl. If that means Rodgers, then you bring him in and watch the morale of this team go through the roof. Dreams and risks go hand in hand.
I do wonder this about the team and your point about, do we lump the team in there with Chris Sanders and everybody else who, is in the text line banging on the drum to keep Tannehill? I think that if they made a trade, if it came out tomorrow, Adam Schefter reports that Aaron Rodgers is going to the Titans, signing a new contract, and will be the quarterback of the Titans. The Titans are sending 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick this year, and their third-round pick next year. So 4 picks, and they're sending that to Green Bay. And that Ryan Tannehill in another deal is getting sent to somebody else, and you're getting in return like a third-round pick for Tannehill, which might be generous, but you would get something back for Tannehill, kind of a la Alex Smith.
Right.
So you make that deal with Washington or Pittsburgh or whomever, Carolina, and you make that trade, I think the players would be like, and again, Lawan and Byard, we're ride or die for Tannehill. I bet those dudes pretty quickly would be like, we got Aaron Rodgers.
They're going to support whoever is their quarterback.
But I think they would truly be excited about getting Aaron Rodgers.
I think they would be too, and that doesn't mean that they dislike Ryan Tannehill as a person. It just means they have a new quarterback who is a proven winner, who is most likely, in their minds, they view it as an upgrade.
Yeah, they just got a better.
They got a better quarterback.
Yeah, just like
it doesn't mean that they can't be friends with Ryan Tannehill anymore, because I'm sure he's a great guy.
If you got an average car, like Volvo, right? Volvo's like an average car,
Yeah.
right? I'm not being too bougie here with saying that.
I don't think so.
Okay. You had a Volvo. It's a nice car.
Yeah.
I don't have a knock on the Volvo.
But I want a Rolls Royce.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. All right,
Yeah.
there you go. And yet, I just think these boo-hooers they cannot do this. They cannot handle it. All right, so I do want to get to Doug Peterson. He was hired as coach of the Jags, and there's not a lot of fanfare surrounding Doug Peterson. I have to be honest with you. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about Doug Peterson. I'll explain that coming up next. 615-737-1025. FanDuel Sportsbook. Boy, they got a great offer for the Super Bowl. It's my official sportsbook app, and it's theirs as well. They're official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. And to celebrate, new customers can bet $5 to win $280 in cash on either team to win when you use promo code JGM while registering. That's right. You can get your winnings in cold, hard cash because they know cash is always better than free bets. So go to the app and see which prop bet you would like and go ahead and pick one out there. So you can pick the color of Gatorade if you'd like for the Super Bowl. There's no better place to pick Super Bowl 56 than the FanDuel Sportsbook app. They've got promotions for new and existing customers, tons of Super Bowl props, and same-game parlays where you can combine small bets for big wins. Don't miss your chance to turn $5 into $280 cash. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use the promo code JGM to make every moment more this Super Bowl. 21 and older and present, Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in a designated offer market. Max bonus $280. Bonus for Tennessee users filled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee! 3-ball, yes, sir!
And when you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt free? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto can do it for you, whether you have a VA loan or a conventional loan. They're helping local homeowners convert their home equity into cash with zero closing costs. Willie Donick here. Listen, your home value is up. Let Loan Pronto tap that equity and get you the cash you need. Pay off high interest loans. Start that home remodeling project. Veteran homeowners are really loving this because with a VA loan, you can tap 100% of your home's equity. That's a ton of cash. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They are doing loans with APRs in the 2s. And if you call now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now to see what your options are. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I'm excited to tell you about our friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and their heating and air stimulus plan. If your AC or heating unit is old and inefficient, then you need to take advantage of their special offer right now. They will double your tax refund up to $1,000. Huge savings with Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Get a York unit that lasts with a 10-year parts and labor warranty with up to 60 months, no interest financing on all York units. Restrictions do apply. Schedule now at springhillac.com. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 102.5 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Do you love Smashville? Join us February 12th and 15th to watch your Nashville Predators take on the Winnipeg Jets and Washington Capitals. Live from Bridgestone Arena. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make sure you get a seat or two. Whether you're bringing your honey or getting ready for a night out with your pals, Smashville is the place you need to be. Secure your seat and bring your gold. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make plans with the Preds. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Karen Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Corey Curtis will be joining us in 15 minutes. I can't wait to bust on Corey's chops about the WKRN News 2, about their tweet yesterday that was like, Corey Curtis and Kayla Anderson talk about the Pro Bowl. And yes, we'll talk about Aaron Rodgers.
We don't want to, but we have to.
We don't want to, but considering the fact that that's all anybody else is talking about, might as well talk about it. I do want to talk about this, though, on a Fireball Hot Take Friday, and I know we got your Tannehill calls to get to, and I'm here for that. But Doug Peterson last night got hired as coach of the Jags. Like, while we were on the air, Byron Leftwich took his name out of the consideration to be the next head coach of the Jags. Doug Peterson ends up getting the job. And first of all, I got to be honest with you. I have a couple of thoughts here. The first is on, I think there's two elements of this. There's Peterson and the Jags and whether or not that's bad for the Titans. I think it's bad for the Titans because I know Doug Peterson can run a competent organization. I don't think he's the best coach, but I know he's not the worst coach. So when they had Urban Meyer, I celebrated because I was like, oh, yes. And normally these guys, these quarterbacks, you can ruin them. It probably takes you about 2 years to ruin a guy at the least amount of time. It takes you probably about 2 or 3 years to build a guy into an elite quarterback. Some guys are so good that it doesn't matter. Like Joe Burrow, I could be his coach, and he'd be an elite quarterback. But most of these young guys in the NFL, we think that these guys are just nature versus, or we just think that these guys either are bust or are good, and we don't ever think about nature versus nurture. And I'll use an example that Floyd once told me when he watched when Josh Allen was coming out. He compared Josh Allen as a prospect to Ryan Leaf. And he was like, he's big, he's strong, he's got a great arm. He says, I see some throws that this guy makes, and they're beautiful. And I see other throws this guy makes, and they're 8 feet in the dirt in front of the wide receiver. And I can't figure this out. And it reminds me exactly of Ryan Leaf.
Which isn't necessarily a compliment.
No, it's not. But I think what I meant by that, or what he meant by that, was the prospect, not the end result. Everybody will hear that, and they'll think it's end result. So it's like, oh, well, Ryan Leaf was a bust, so that means that you think Josh Allen stinks. That's not. Remember Josh Allen his first couple years? Josh Allen wasn't very good. But the Bills had a system in place, and they went out and hired Brian Daboll, and all of a sudden, Allen got better and better.
They got Stephon Diggs.
And then he became an elite quarterback. But it took time. Allen was not there. I think Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good player.
Yes.
Even last year, in spite of all the BS, and there was a lot of it, and we know why there was a lot of it, and we know who was to blame. But I think Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good player, and I think he's got the potential to be a good player as long as he doesn't get ruined. And Peterson knows how to run a competent organization. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, and he dealt with the turmoil of losing his starting quarterback at the end of the year, and he put in a backup who was terrible in his first start, and all of a sudden he becomes Nick Foles. Now, yes, the Eagles went downhill, but I think a lot of that is Wentz. Don't think it's Peterson. Wentz didn't like Peterson because Peterson benched him for Jalen Hurts. Don't we all think that deep down inside that was probably the right thing to do? So I think Peterson's a pretty good coach. Again, I don't know anything about. I don't know him. I've never met him. I've never seen him run a practice. I don't think he's an elite coach. I don't think he's Belichick, but I think he's a good coach. And that's what bothers me when these guys get good quarterbacks is that if they don't screw it up, they got a chance to be pretty good. It's not how I felt when Tony Dungy left the Buccaneers and went to Indianapolis, and I was like, oh, no. Peyton and that offense with Dungy, who had built just a badass defense, I was like, oh, no. I don't feel that way. But I definitely am not as ecstatic as I was last year when Jacksonville hired Urban, and it was like, ooh, goody. They're going to get this good quarterback, and Urban's going to try to run it like college, and Urban's going to screw it up, and it'll be 2 years, and Lawrence may be damaged goods by then, and I won't have to worry about Trevor Lawrence being the next Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck. Now I kind of feel like there's a chance that Peterson could put a system in place that's going to protect Lawrence and allow him to grow, and then he's going to blossom because he's a great prospect and because Peterson's a competent coach. And all I got to say to that is Joe Burrow. Again, we talk about Trevor Lawrence. We've talked about Trevor Lawrence for years like one of these elite quarterback prospects. And if you put a guy in a position to succeed, the guy succeeds. I heard today Mike Tannenbaum was talking about, they got to get a better offensive line. Their offensive line's not that good. Joe Burrow doesn't need an offensive line.
It wouldn't hurt if he had a better offensive line.
No, but I'd get Trevor some firepower.
But he can make do.
I'd get Trevor some firepower, and I would let Peterson run that baby however he wants to run it. And that would worry me. Now, the good news is the owner's still there, and the owner's still a kook, which is good. And then the other thing is a lot of these candidates didn't want to go there because Trent Baalke, who was the general manager in San Francisco and fought tooth and nail with Harbaugh and then hired Jim Tomsula, he was kind of brought in to be Urban's yes man. And then when Urban got axed, people thought Baalke would get axed too. He didn't. He's the GM. So Peterson was the only guy I think that was willing to work with Trent Baalke. So at least Baalke can still screw it up. The owner can screw it up. And maybe Peterson's not all that good of a guy. I think he's fine. But I definitely don't like the idea of Doug Peterson in Jacksonville. Now, the second thing. You see all the coaches that have gotten hired?
Mm-hmm.
They're all white.
Yep.
And I'm a little torn on this. And here's why. Because we got the Brian Flores lawsuit coming out. And I think we can all be honest with ourselves. One black coach out of 32, like, that's not right. That's not like a fair representation of either that league or society as a whole, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so one black coach out of 32. That's not right.
Especially in a league who has an overwhelming majority of black players.
But at the same time, I mean, I think Peterson's a good fit for Jacksonville. So what, am I supposed to go up to Jacksonville and say, hey, you have to hire a black coach? That doesn't sound fair.
It doesn't sound fair because what if they don't find a candidate that fits what their team needs who happens to be black?
Right. Or
Asian or whatever. A minority.
Let's use the Titans as an example because the Titans were looking for a new coach a couple of years ago, and they went out and they interviewed essentially one guy. They interviewed 3 people for the job. They interviewed Mike Vrabel. They interviewed Matt LaFleur, who ultimately became the offensive coordinator, and they interviewed Steve Wilkes, who I think just got fired. He might still be there as the defensive coordinator at Missouri, but I can't remember. They were never going to hire Steve Wilkes. They knew the second that they fired Mike Mularkey exactly who they wanted to hire. In fact, I think that's why they fired Mike Mularkey was because they wanted to hire Mike Vrabel. Well, I think Mike Vrabel's a pretty good coach. So, obviously, I think the Titans probably made the right call. But it was definitely a sham interview with Steve Wilkes. And I say definitely. I wasn't there, so I didn't hear the interview. But I just assume, and I feel comfortable in assuming, the Titans were never going to hire Steve Wilkes as their coach.
Well, if Steve Wilkes was the defensive coordinator at Missouri this past year, then he should have lost his job because that was the worst defense in college football.
Sure. So he got 1 year as the head coach at Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got fired, so they go get Kingsbury, who I'm not sold on being a great coach either. And then they fired him to go get Kingsbury. And then he went to the Browns as defensive coordinator. He got fired with Freddie Kitchens after 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was defensive coordinator, I believe, at Missouri. And that's where he's been. But again, I still think it was a sham interview. Just like I think it was a sham interview when they knew they were going to hire Mike Mularkey full-time, and they interviewed Terrell Austin. And then after Ray Horton complained, Ray Horton, who had put together some of the single worst defenses I have ever seen from the Tennessee Titans, Ray Horton was mad that he didn't get an interview for the head coaching job, so then they interviewed him too. I mean, I think those are sham interviews. Like, I don't think that they were ever seriously interviewing those people as candidates. But again, like, I think they got 2 good coaches. I think Mularkey was a good coach. He was the interim coach. They knew they wanted him. Okay. And then Vrabel. And Vrabel's been a pretty good coach. But I do look at it and I'm like, oh my, like, they're going to go through like 8 coaches this hiring cycle. And I don't know if they're going to hire one black coach. And then it's hard for me to not listen to the idea that these owners, that there's something up with this. So I don't know. I'm torn on this.
It's a very sticky situation, and you can also look at it. If it was a sham interview with black coaches, is that a problem with the Rooney Rule?
Well, what do you want to do? Get rid of it?
No, I don't want to get rid of it because I think it's a very worthy and noble cause. Because I do think that there are more minorities. There needs to be more minorities, not just in the NFL, but just in general in positions of power. But also, like, are you going to knock someone for a quote-unquote sham interview when that's a box that they have to check?
I don't – look, I'm not smart enough to figure this out.
I'm not either.
I know this. Eric Bieniemy's interviewing with the Saints. They're going to give the job to Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator.
Probably so.
Like, that's – like, they're going to give Dennis Allen the job. They wanted Dennis Allen to be their coach. They knew that there was a chance Sean Payton was going to walk away. They wanted Dennis Allen to be their coach. Who am I to tell the Saints, hey, you have to hire a black coach? Who am I to do that?
But if they don't think that that's the right person for the job, then he's not the right person for the job, no matter what color his skin is.
But I'm just saying it's a bad look for the league.
It is a bad look.
It should be a bad look for the league. But
I'm not going to tell someone what's right for their organization.
It's a complicated issue. It's a lot easier when somebody hires Urban Meyer because he's stupid, and you knew that was going to be stupid, and you knew it was all bullcrap. But again, you can't tell somebody, hey, you got to go. Like, it's a tough spot to be in. 615-737-1025. What does Corey Curtis think? Because the local media, I'll be honest with you, like the traditional Titans media, for the most part, I know someone's going to say you're casting a wide net, Jared. They don't like talking about this Aaron Rodgers stuff, do they?
No, they do not.
Okay. Corey is kind of more like us, but he's still part of the traditional Titans media crew. What does he think of it? We'll talk to him next. Stillman and Company on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. They're the proud sponsors of Fireball Hot Take Friday. I absolutely love Fireball Hot Take Friday because, again, it goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. There is no better way to ignite the night than to do it with ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Big weekend. The big game is coming up, and you got to make sure for your big game parties that you've got Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Ignite the night. Please do responsibly. Be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takauchi dealer.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. With Instant Match, you'll receive a list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
If you missed the latest edition of Preds Insiders,
I'm just curious from your vantage point, watching Saros play the game the way that he does, why do you think UC Saros has been able to be so good so consistently with the way he's played over the course of his first part of his career here as a starter?
All right, I got an outside-the-box answer for you, Robbie. You ready?
I'm ready.
Because he's a smaller goaltender.
Okay.
Those other guys, the taller goaltenders, can kind of rely on the fact they take up a lot of net. They can rely on the fact that they got a big, splits reach. They can go post to post quicker, etc. Just because of their physical nature. Saros doesn't have that luxury, and so he's had to learn from the beginning that he's got to be athletic, that he has to read the play that much quicker. He's got to be able to track pucks that much faster and that much better. And I think that has set him up for success.
Search Preds Insiders today on your favorite podcast platform. The newest edition releases every Monday at 6 on ESPN, 102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Stillman and Company Fireball Hot Take Friday. So, for everybody out there, this has been a very exciting week as far as Aaron Rodgers gossip is concerned. Ian Rappaport today on the Pat McAfee Show for the Boo-Hoo Cap crew that's all worried about the cap. Sorry, I hate to say this. Willie Donick for the Boo-Hoo Cap crew. This is what Ian Rappaport said on the Pat McAfee Show.
The Titans could do it. They would take a big cap hit, but I can't pretend that that's something that would make it, prohibitive. That doesn't – it would make it hard. I think it would be $28 million cap hit.
27.5, yeah.
Would it?
Yeah, 27.5. I think we have a full graphic, actually. Yeah, there it is.
There you go. So they could do it. And,
baby dirty.
I remember thinking last year that the Rams could never trade Goff because the cap hit was too bad. And then they just did it and dealt with it, got Stafford, paid for him, and just made it work. These guys are so good, they could make it work. Yeah.
And they're in the Super Bowl now. Corey Curtis joins us news, too, on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Corey, you've heard all the gossip and the rumors and the, as Carolinians you would say,
the tea.
The tea on Aaron Rodgers. What do you make of it this week, Corey Curtis?
I haven't heard anything linking him to the Titans.
Okay. What about the tea you have heard?
What, that he's buying a house here?
Yes, the tea that came from this show that everybody's heard, that everybody wants to talk about. And news, too, I got to get on you guys. We talked about this on air yesterday, Corey. You guys put out a tweet about Sports Extra Daily, and it was like, Corey and Kayla will talk about the Pro Bowl. And, yes, they'll talk about Aaron Rodgers. And it's like, Corey, people want to talk about the Aaron Rodgers stuff. What do you think of it?
Well, of course they want to talk about Aaron Rodgers stuff because, right now Ryan Tannehill is public enemy number one, and Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. But listen, I get it. I get that it's exciting that he wants to build a house here. Jim Nantz moved to Nashville. It didn't mean he was angling to work at Channel 5 or Channel 2 or Channel 4, okay? George Kittle lives in Nashville. Doesn't mean he's angling to play for the Titans.
George Kittle ain't looking for a new team.
We don't know that. Have you asked him?
Corey.
I'm just telling you.
Come on. I'm about to put you in the boo-hoo Tannehill crew here for a second. You're itching that way.
I'm just saying you are associating two things that I can't automatically associate together. I can't say that Aaron Rodgers is moving to Nashville because he wants to play for the Titans.
And I'm not asking you to do that, and I didn't report that. I'm saying, what do you think about all the fallout?
I think Nashville's a hot place to move to, and so people are moving here. That's what I think. Does that make it convenient? Yeah, that might make the Titans more appealing to him, right? So maybe he is eyeing the Titans some. That could be the case, but I haven't heard anything that the Titans are eyeing him, and so. And look, I'm not saying it's not impossible. Okay, I'm not saying you can't do it. You could do anything that you set your mind to. But I don't link it and say, oh, he wants to build a house here. This could happen now. The chances to me would be just as good as if he kept his house in California.
Do you think now that it is out there that he is quote unquote open to joining the Titans? Do you think they should be pursuing Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I think they need to be exploring all options to make the football team better, right? And that includes the quarterback because, you know me, Jared, I don't like to blame one player. I don't like to blame one play. I don't like to blame one call. But Ryan Tannehill was largely responsible for that loss. They don't turn the football over 3 times, they're going to win that football game. It's pretty simple. And he's lost 3 playoff games in a row. The only 2 playoff games he won, he threw for less than 100 yards. So,
which, by the way, we've stolen that from you since you said it last week. We have used that, I don't know, once an hour probably, Caroline? The 5 playoff games and the 2 wins, not over 100 yards. So we did steal that from you.
Okay. Well, I mean, and look, so, he's great in the playoffs. I mean, great in the regular season. Most of the time he's been good. But in the playoffs, he hasn't been good enough. And that's, the goal isn't to win the AFC South. I've had so many people say to me, hey, 12-5 AFC South, that's, that's great. I'm like, it is great. It is great. Kansas City Chiefs thought it was great too, but you know what they thought was greater? Winning the Super Bowl. So they drafted Patrick Mahomes because they figured Alex Smith is good enough to get them to 13-3 and win the AFC West, but he wasn't good enough to win the big one. And so if you're the Titans, I think, at every position, you need to explore, can we get better? And there's only a handful of ways to do that at the quarterback position. Because for everybody who wants to just ditch Tannehill and move on, you can't do it unless you get somebody better, all right? And, there's not many guys who fit that category, unfortunately, right now. Because as we know, awesome quarterbacks don't grow on trees. And that's why teams tend to hang on to them forever. But if you think you can get Russell Wilson or you think you can get Aaron Rodgers, I think you absolutely need to explore what it would take to do it. But as you've pointed out in the past, Jared, the Titans, they wanted to go get Jadeveon Clowney, and what did it cost them?
Yep.
Cost him Johnny Smith. That's right. And so if you go get Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, what's it going to cost you? Is it going to cost you Harold Landry? Is it going to cost you Derrick Henry?
Is he going to? I mean, I'm just being. Is it going to cost you re-signing A.J. Brown? You know, is that what it's going to cost you for a guy who's 39 years old this next season? And by the way, scored 10 points in his playoff game, fewer than you scored. So, you know, then when you have to start going, is it worth the long-term losses to take a 1-2 year splash at it with this guy who, by the way, hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs the last few years? He's got one ring. For being a top 5, top 10 all-time quarterback on really good football teams, he's got one ring. And does that mean I'm blaming him entirely? No. But I'm just saying that if he was the be-all, end-all, the bee's knees, he'd have more than one. And for some reason, he doesn't.
I actually agree with you. I said this earlier today. He's not Brady. So if you think that you're getting Brady because, well, you know, you missed on Tannehill or you picked Tannehill over Brady and now you're going out and you're getting Brady to come in here and win like he did Tampa Bay, like that's not Rodgers' MO. You need to get 9 sacks so that Rodgers can't blow it in a bad playoff game like they did on defense. This was the question I posed to Caroline. I'm going to pose it to you that I started the show with. And again, we played the Ian Rappaport clip where Ian Rappaport says basically that, you know, they'll figure out a way with the cap.
Yeah.
Okay. First round pick this year, first round pick next year, third round pick next year. Tannehill goes off somewhere else. You get a 5th round pick in exchange for that. Do you do it?
You know, I have to see how much damage there is to the cap and who you lose in the process as well. I mean, again, I'd be more inclined to Russell Wilson than I would Aaron Rodgers. How old's Russell?
Same age as Tannehill, 34, 33, whatever. Yeah.
33. I'd be more inclined to that than I am 38, 39. And Rodgers he's got baggage. I mean, he just does. And I you know, how well is he going to fit in? I don't know. Can he and Vrabel coexist? I don't know.
AJ Hawk said they're friends, but we did discuss that yesterday as to whether or not
that he and Vrabel are friends?
Yes.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, if that's the case, then maybe. Look, it's a lot. And, you know, I was in favor of signing Brady 2 years ago, but he didn't cost you anything. Sure. All it cost you was signing him. That was it. You had that chance. And now you're talking about unloading first-round picks and jamming yourself up against the cap for a guy who's not Brady. I think I'm going to look, I'm not going to say no, but I got to be really convinced. You're going to have to come at me with everything that says this is the right thing to do.
What did you make? Corey Curtis, News 2 is our guest. What did you make of the Robinson comments in defense of Tannehill?
Well, I think, to me, if you're the organization and he's your guy until he's not your guy, you got to support him. You can't Chris Ballard him, all right? Because to me, there's, you know, Chris Ballard told the whole team that Carson Wentz stinks, and if he's our quarterback next year, it's because we couldn't find anything better. And you know, you've still got to back and believe, you know, in your guys. And I don't think that doesn't mean you can't explore other options. That just means he's your guy until he's not your guy, and you got to back him while he's that. I mean, listen. One of my biggest problems with Tannehill's playoff performance is his post-playoff performance, and that was the zero accountability press conference and the no-show on locker cleanout day. That's one of the biggest problems because I think when I hear him talk about what a great leader he is, that sticks in my craw. That's not what a leader does. He may have leadership qualities. He may lead guys on the field, but a leader steps out and says, I got to be better. I let 52 other guys down. I let this entire fan base down. It's not going to happen again. A leader doesn't come out and say, well, you know, this one's going to stick with us for a while. We got to be better. That's too soft. And I don't know if you know, Robinson could have addressed that or not. They probably don't care about it as much as I do. But when I look at leadership, that's one thing that sticks with me. And when I look at a guy who has not stepped up in the playoffs, that's another area where I question strength of leadership. Because leaders, Tom Brady, when it's all on the line, step forward. I question Matthew Stafford's leadership ability all season long. And you know what? In the playoffs, he stepped up and he proved me wrong.
Corey Curtis, News 2, Fireball Hot Take Friday. What's your hot take?
You know, I've been thinking about it, and you say find a way. They got to find a way to keep Harold Landry. And it's not because I think Harold Landry is Von Miller or Myles Garrett. I think Harold Landry's really good, and I think he's really good for this team. And, Jared, you've seen it, and I've seen it. When you have a dominant front four, when you've got Kyle Vanden Bosch and Albert Hainsworth and the crew they had there, they put you in position to win every game you play, right? And so it took you a long time to finagle this group together to build a dominant front four. I mean, they got to find a way to keep that dominant front four together, because otherwise you're guessing. You're guessing on a draft pick. You're guessing on Rashad Weaver that he's going to be the guy that can fill in and replace him. Unless they know something I don't know, I think you've got to find a way, because to me, that foursome will put you in contention for the next 3 years.
There you go. Corey Curtis, News 2, as always, on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Very spirited today, Corey Curtis. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Really? Okay. Well, I try my best,
I think I got you fired up at the beginning. I think that's really what happened.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for the little blow-up pool parties and the Mai Tais at the Aaron Rodgers Estates in Franklin. That'll be a good time.
You and I both know we're not invited for multiple reasons to those parties. In that
we don't have a mullet?
No, we do not. Appreciate you, Corey.
All right, later.
Yep, Corey Curtis, News 2 on the program. Boy, he's fired up today.
He was.
He was fired up. Well, I wasn't going to let him go down the local media route of, this story is not enough to be able to talk about Tannehill and Rodgers.
Why not?
Well, but that's been like the line, is like they want to spend more time talking about how it's not a story than just talking about the story. And then Corey gave you his answer, which is basically he doesn't like Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Which he's entitled to that belief.
And that's fine. And that was an issue that arose with us yesterday was, is he going to be disruptive in this locker room? Is he going to get along with Mike Vrabel? Those are all legitimate concerns.
So I got some thoughts on all of this. He brought up Landry. I got a thought on that. I got a thought on the cap. And again, just so people understand the cap, I want to set this straight for everybody who thinks the Titans don't have cap space or the Titans can't get a quarterback with cap space. We'll do that next. But first, Caroline wants to tell you about Caesars Sportsbook.
Yes, I do. This is the Caesars Sportsbook Report. It is Super Bowl bye week, but there is always plenty of action for us to talk about in the sportsbooks. First of all, download the Caesars Sportsbook app with the code Radio300. One word, that's code Radio300. And if you wager exactly $20 for your first bet, you'll get $300 in free bets, win or lose. So put that $20 first bet on the Super Bowl. Odds opening for the Super Bowl were Rams minus 3.5. That is now shifted to Rams minus 4.5. Now, there have been a bunch of bets on the Bengals plus 4.5 since that line has shifted. Some people feel very confident about the Bengals plus 4.5, even $110,000 confident. So if you feel confident about the Bengals as well, even more than $110,000 worth, then put money on the Bengals plus 4.5 and do it with the Caesars Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older, offer valid in Tennessee and for new users only. First cash wager of $20 only. Paid a 6-bet credit. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. The goblet has dropped, so download it. Must be 21 plus.
Hi, I'm Yusuf Saros. And this is Smashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by UC Saros there.
Unreal. You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
When purchasing your next vehicle, it's nice to know that you can deal with a locally owned dealership like Payne Chevrolet that has been in the same family for over 96 years. Home of the lifetime powertrain warranty on new and pre-owned vehicles, Payne Chevrolet also makes it easy to shop. You can literally go to PayneChevrolet.com, point, click, and drive away in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Check out Payne Chevrolet in Springfield on Memorial Boulevard or go to PayneChevrolet.com. Payne Chevrolet, 9 decades, 4 generations, and 1 tradition.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
Hey everybody, Robbie Stanley here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's as the neighborhood bar and restaurant to catch the next Preds game. Jasper's is located on West End Avenue and offers a fun atmosphere with a game room, TVs, and a large bar and lounge area. Plus they offer free parking. That's right, free parking on West End, and offer specials for every Preds game day, including $10 smash burgers and $3 bottled domestics. So come on down to Jasper's next game day for happy hour every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m. and 2-for-1 beers all day on Sundays. Just tell them that Robbie Stanley sent you.
Beach Bar Rum, Santo, and Sammy's Beach Bar Cocktails present Sammy Hagar and the Circle. March 8th, Ryman Auditorium. Sammy, Michael, Vic, Jason. Tickets on sale now. Buy tickets at Ryman.com. Sammy Hagar and the Circle. Sponsored by PNC Bank and Access. Proud partners of Ryman Auditorium.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takauchi dealer.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
I think teams use this as a crutch, right? I mean, because we see teams manipulate the salary cap different ways. I think teams use this as a crutch. Say, well, if we pay the quarterback, we can't pay the rest of the roster. When in fact, all it is a different kind of jigsaw puzzle. Like Russell Wilson had the highest cap hit of any quarterback this year, and they didn't make the playoffs. But, Jimmy Garoppolo had the 5th highest, and he was still playing a game last week. Matthew Stafford's a top 10 cap hit, and he's in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes this year had the 20th highest cap hit in the league, and he didn't make the Super Bowl. So I think it's very easy to look at a list like we just showed and say, oh, well, this means that you can't do it if you pay the quarterback a huge portion of your cap. I think that that's an excuse that teams use.
There you go, Dan Graziano on ESPN. The salary cap, people, is like the thing everybody wants to talk about. The cap. And I used to be this way. And I do think that resets happen. Like, I do think there's going to be a year where the Saints are going to have to suck, and they're going to have to suck it up and realize we took so many cracks at it with Drew Brees, and we're going to stink this year, and then we're going to draft and go get some good players and reset yourself that way. And I think in the NFL, you can do that pretty quickly. But it's hard. But ultimately, everybody's all worried about the cap. Bring in Russell. Oh, the cap. Bring in Rodgers. Oh, the cap. And Tannehill and the dead cap. And the every year. And Dan Graziano's telling you, yeah, it doesn't matter. Listen to Ian Rappaport. So he was on the Pat McAfee show, and they were asking about cap hits and Rodgers. And Ian Rappaport threw out the idea that Rodgers could be headed to the Saints.
Is there more than we think or project?
Yes. A couple you missed there. The Saints are going to be in for a quarterback, and I would think they would swing pretty big. They always kind of swing big.
$71 million over the cap. Eric Bieniemy is interviewing with them, today or tomorrow? There's $71 million over the cap.
That doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but everything
cap's a joke.
They have like the best cap gymnast in the NFL, and Kai Harley. They could manage it. They've been managing it for years. They'll push into the future. They have the Saints, if they want to swing big for a quarterback, could definitely do it.
Okay. All right, fine. So it doesn't matter.
The Saints are $70 million in the hole, and they're still swinging for the fences.
And he says they could be players for Aaron Rodgers.
And he says, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Yeah.
But here's what's happened.
Cap's a joke is what they said.
Here's what's happened. When I used to live up in New Hampshire and I used to listen to Boston radio, they used to say the cap is crap. That was something they said all the time, over and over again, over and over again. The cap is crap. I do believe this. I do believe that there are so many ways to get yourself out of trouble with the cap, and I believe the Titans have one of the single best cap manipulators around in Vin Marino, who is like the number 2 to John Robinson. And I think they've got one of the best. He used to work at the league office managing the cap. So I am convinced that they have one of the best manipulators. And at the end of the day, name me a player that the Titans have wanted to go get that they couldn't get because of the cap, since the cap really took off after the CBA that was signed in 2011. And I can't remember one. I mean, the only time the Titans cap was ever an issue was last year, and they went out and got Julio Jones, and they found a way. Like maybe you could say keeping Jack Conklin was something that they wanted to do and they couldn't do in 2020. But the reality is I've heard on pretty good authority that the Titans were offering similar to what Cleveland offered Conklin and got him, but that Conklin just wanted to be closer to his family and was mad that the Titans declined his fifth-year option. So how many guys are out there that they really wanted to keep? They could have franchise tagged Jonnu Smith last year. They didn't. They had no interest in that. So I got to be honest, this fear about the salary cap, and I was one of them. I'm just not sure that it really matters that much anymore, especially when you know that the cap's supposed to be like $208 million next year, and then it's going to be like $250 million the year after that because that's when the TV contracts kick in. So this is kind of the pandemic relief cap that they've had for the last 2 years, and I believe it's next year, though I could be wrong, but that's when the cap's supposed to kick in and it's supposed to explode. So I'm not sure I care as much about the cap as I used to. And you hear Ian Rappaport right there being like, yeah, for years I've thought about this, but then when I saw what the Rams did, I know that the cap's crap. And I just hope people Dan Graziano, same thing. Yeah, they could move this cap around here or there. Overthecap.com has like the cap calculator that you can play with. And I went to Green Bay's just to see. Mm-hmm. They're like $50 million over the cap.
Oh my gosh. And we don't even talk about that.
Nope. They're like, so they
the
realistically.
Saints and the Rams are always the poster children for cap.
The Rams are $3.3 million over the cap.
Not nearly as bad as.
But that's essentially losing their entire team.
Right.
So, like, Von Miller's gone. Odell's gone. Andrew Whitworth's gone. Like, all these guys are gone after this year. And so the Rams are really right there. But again, it's all funny money. It's all baloney. It's all, don't let yourself get worked up over that. I think there is a part of this right here where the Titans are kind of like, I think they want to give Tannehill another chance. And that's the bigger thing than it is, we can't do it because of the cap. Because how can Green Bay bring Rodgers back with a $40 million hit next year if they're already $50 million or whatever it is over the cap?
They'll figure it out.
Right. They'll find a way. They'll cut some guys. They'll move some money around. They'll restructure.
They'll find a way if they want to find a way. Yes. Which they will if Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback, but that's the same thing for the Titans.
Like,
it's going to hurt, and it's going to take some gymnastics.
So the Patriots moved everything down for years and years and years and years. Just Brady one more chance. Brady, whatever. And then finally Brady left. And when Brady left, Belichick took the money that was allocated to Brady, and he gave it to Joe Thuney, a guard, which I'm not totally sure why he did that. But they stunk. They went 7-9 the next year, and they weren't very good with Cam Newton at quarterback. And it was because they had to reset because they spent all these years kicking it down, 7-9. They get their butts beat. Then they go back they get a quarterback in the draft, and all of a sudden in free agency, they're signing 2 tight ends and 3 wide receivers and defensive tackles, and here come the Patriots with all their money. When the Titans were the Titans and Floyd made runs at it and maxed out the credit card, and this was when, like, you had to sign rookie quarterbacks to top-of-the-market deals before they slotted it, and when you were at a time in the cap where the money just wasn't as much as it was, and he told the Titan fans, like, guys, like, we've maxed out the credit cards, there's going to be a reset. Here came the reset. Goodbye, Eddie George. Goodbye, Steve McNair. The team wasn't very good. And then all of a sudden they went out and got Kevin Mawai because, again, they reset and they had cap money. David Thornton, Nick Harper, David Givens. They went out and got guys. They drafted well. And with Jeff Fisher as coach, they're back in the playoffs in 07 and 08. The end. It's not that big of a deal. And yet everybody's making it out to be like it's just some monumental big deal. And Corey Curtis, the reason I bring this up, I'll let out a little bit more tea. So the Titans want to sign Harold Landry. Mm-hmm. John Robinson came out and said that. So I have been told by sources, that Harold Landry wants to be a Titan, but that they're very far apart in currently negotiating a contract with the Titans, and that the way that Landry's camp probably looks at this is, at worst case scenario for Landry, he gets tagged for $18 million or whatever, $17.4 million, on the franchise tag and returns next year. Best case scenario for Landry is that he gets a deal he wants with the Titans that lowers that cap number for this year because you can give it to him up front in signing bonus, put it on in future years, and it's a small cap number so they can keep competing, and he gets the long-term security of being here in Nashville. But there's no fear for Harold Landry to go into free agency. And they have all the leverage because, again, they know the Titans don't want to carry a $17.4 million cap hit. So it's like, all right, worst case scenario is you're going to give me $17.4 million next year, and you're going to have to take all that money right on the chin. Best case scenario, signs a long-term deal that he wants with the Titans. Middle scenario, goes out to the market, and I got to believe there's money on the free agent market for Harold Landry. So,
I mean, are the Titans willing to do that, though, just to send him to free agency?
I don't know. I mean,
that makes me a little nervous, but if they can't come to a deal, then
I think the Titans are going to franchise tag him.
Probably so.
Like, I think
how can you put
day,
that much, this past offseason, so much priority and money on the table for the defensive line and then just let one of them walk?
No, I would agree. Plus, at the end of the day, if the Saints are $70 million over the cap and they're still going to make a run at Aaron Rodgers, they will.
The cap is fantasy land.
Figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
615-737-1025. We're to your phones on this. Plus, Joe demands an answer from us. Joe Rexroad does. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Chilly this afternoon, only a high of 33 degrees. Overcast skies should give way to at least a few streaks of sunshine, but the sun doesn't return until tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Meshing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexroad are Robbie and Rexroad. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Fireball Hot Take Friday, ESPN 1025 The Game is Nashville's official home of NASCAR. Tune in Sunday, February 6th at 1:30 for the inaugural Busch Clash at the LA Coliseum. Also get set for the race with Chasing Checkers every Sunday at 8 a.m. So you want to know, we've kind of knocked down a lot of myths lately.
Uh-huh.
So here's the whole Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is your quarterback today. How do you get to Aaron Rodgers? And a lot of people don't want to do the hurdles, like the mental hurdles it is to get there. So what they just do is they say, can't do it because the cap. And we have debunked that myth.
Uh-huh.
And then there's another myth because, again, Rodgers has a big salary and Tannehill has a big salary. And so Green Bay probably is not going to want Ryan Tannehill in return on a trade because their cap's all screwed up. And so you would have to then send Tannehill somewhere else. And Joe Rexrode was all fired up this morning on Robbie and Rexrode demanding answers from me about how you get the Tannehill money off the books as far as adding the Rodgers money on the books, even though we've been saying all day as far as the salary cap is concerned.
You figure it out.
You figure it out. But here's what Joe demanded of us today.
Well, I'm struggling to find one that I feel good about taking him. You know, 0 chance. No, it's not 0 chance, but I think it's a little bit of a leap to think that there's a team that thinks enough about him that this team thinks it is worth making that deal to get him and that he will transform them. I'm all ears. Actually, I mean, I don't know. Again, I have not heard all of Jared's detailed plan on this, but I look to Jared. I've heard Jared. We've talked to Jared about the Russell Wilson thing and some of the Aaron Rodgers specific things. But what about that? Like who takes Tannehill? I want to hear you. Jared, let me know. You text Robbie so he can tell me what you think.
There you go. So Joe wants to know. Let me ask you a question. Denver Broncos don't end up with Aaron Rodgers. Who would you rather have? Ryan Tannehill, Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tyrod Taylor, Jameis Winston, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Matt Corral.
I would say either Teddy or Ryan Tannehill.
Okay. And we know they can't win with Bridgewater.
Right. They've done that before.
So they've tried to win with Bridgewater. They know they can't win with Bridgewater. My gut would be Tannehill's the best of that group.
Maybe Jameis, if they wanted to even entertain that
Oh,
option.
Jameis.
But coming off of an injury, no. I would say Tannehill. Probably
Okay.
that bunch for the Broncos.
Pittsburgh, TD said that, and apparently this has been going around Twitter, that Tomlin is just in love with Malik Willis, which makes me think, which actually makes me think
that they're not
that he
in love
likes
with
somebody
Malik
else.
Willis. Yeah.
You know, like Tomlin's been doing this before.
Right.
So for him to be just, goo goo gaga over Malik Willis at the Senior Bowl makes me think that they really like Kenny Pickett.
Probably so.
So they don't want anybody to know that they really like Kenny Pickett. But then again, Floyd was apparently in the ICU during the draft and told the nurse there at Vanderbilt, who was a huge football fan, that the Patriots were 100% going to draft Mac Jones.
Really? And this was at the time we all thought Mac Jones to San Francisco.
Yeah, now I think this was like the day of the draft. So this
maybe
is when
so.
we started to hear it was going to be Trey Lance.
Right.
But sure.
Yeah. He knew.
But so Pittsburgh maybe goes young at quarterback. But again, if you want to win in 2022, who are you better off with, Malik Willis or Ryan Tannehill? And the answer is Ryan Tannehill. Carolina. That owner wants a quarterback so bad. They tried everything.
Bad.
They signed Bridgewater to a big deal. That didn't work. They traded him to Denver. They brought in Darnold.
Sam
That didn't
Darnold,
work. They
Cam
brought
Newton.
Cam
They even
back.
brought Cam back, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mess there.
Yeah.
You're telling me Carolina in that all of a sudden winnable division, you got the Saints $70 million over the hook. You got Tampa Bay with no quarterback. We need to throw them on there as a team that could go after Tannehill.
Yeah.
You got Arthur Smith with
Atlanta.
nothing in Atlanta. I mean, like, come on. It's like you don't think Carolina would want Ryan Tannehill? And again, I don't know Carolina's cap situation. But if you're trading for Aaron Rodgers, when you're dealing Ryan Tannehill, you're probably either getting a player that is a so-so player or a so-so draft pick in return, and the other team is getting a starting quarterback, which is exactly what happened when Kansas City moved off of Alex Smith and they traded him over to Washington for like a third-round pick and a corner. Because it was like, yeah, like we know you're trying to get rid of this guy, so we'll take him because he's better than anything else that we could go out and get at Washington. But that's what they're doing. Then there's Washington. Then there's Tampa. Tampa has a high first-round draft pick. Again, I don't want to talk about cap problems because everybody will figure it out. And I don't know what their cap situation is. But so basically, your options, let's take Rodgers off the table because in this scenario, Rodgers comes here.
Mm-hmm.
You can either go after Wilson, you can go after Watson, which, I mean.
They've done this before.
Well, it's not that they've done it before. It's just that, like.
I thought you said Winston. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about Watson.
Watson.
I mean, are you going after Watson?
I wouldn't. I'm sure there is a team out there that will. I'm not touching it.
Okay. So I see this, and it's like, okay, you're not going to go after Watson because he's got all these sexual assault claims. At some point, doesn't that have to get resolved? And, like, we have to decide, like, can he play football or not play football?
Well, I don't know if any team's going to make a move with him until it's all over. And I don't know what the trial schedule is. I don't know whenever there's a outright decision that he is guilty or not guilty. But I wouldn't make a move for him until I knew for certain that he was not guilty.
Okay, but, like, at some point, doesn't he not become a good football player anymore?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, the quarterback shelf life, but he's still young.
I know, but the idea of, like, taking 2 years off and then still wanting me to pay you top of them. Then again, if Andrew Luck unretired, I'd take him to the Titans.
Yeah.
So what am I talking about? So there's Watson. And then there's Dalton, Bridgewater, Fitzpatrick, Taylor, and Winston. And Tannehill's better than all those guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a Tannehill fan. But if any of those guys were better than Tannehill, I would just say, find a taker for Tannehill and move off and go sign one of those guys. But they're not. So unless all of a sudden McDaniels doesn't like Carr with the Raiders, I don't see this idea. I think it's such a myth. Who would want Tannehill? I mean, all these teams don't have quarterbacks. And everybody tells me that none of these draft quarterbacks are any good. So then you don't think Carolina would want Ryan Tannehill? If Ryan Tannehill's the quarterback in Carolina with Christian McCaffrey at running back, you can make the argument that that's a division that now they become the favorite. Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Who else is in that division?
Saints.
Oh, yeah. They're
who don't have a coach or a quarterback.
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's crazy talk to me. So there you go, Joe. Anybody who doesn't have a quarterback will trade you a 4th-round pick, and they will pay Ryan Tannehill $29 million next year.
If not a third, maybe.
Yeah.
Or a second.
Somebody will take him to start on their football. Carson Wentz last year, with all his money and all his suckness in Philadelphia, went for a 1st and a 3rd.
People love Carson Wentz.
1st and a 3rd?
People love Carson Wentz.
I know, but to pretend that Tannehill wouldn't be taken by another team.
Oh, yes, you absolutely would be.
Let's go to your phone. 615-737-1025. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What do we have?
Daryl texts in and says the Titans would have won against Cincinnati if they continued to run the ball at 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. They would have won by sticking to their identity. A running team should have run in the first play of the game also. I would always believe that play selection was the reason for the loss.
Okay.
So I'm assuming this texter's not putting blame on Tannehill.
So that's the thing that, is Todd Downing the problem? Mm-hmm. It's been asked a lot. The Titans are saying no. And they're not just saying no, but with Tannehill, they're saying that they believe in Tannehill, but they haven't proven to us that they believe in Tannehill. If all of a sudden we hear they're sniffing around on Aaron Rodgers, which I would love to hear, but if we hear they're sniffing around on Aaron Rodgers, then that means that they're not in love with Tannehill. But with Downing, they got out there the day afterwards and said he's a great coach, great communicator, and basically told you he's keeping his job. But now, there was the report today. Who was it? Was it Ian Rappaport reported? That they just brought in Tim Kelly?
And that's what I was going to say, is bringing in Tim Kelly, acknowledging the fact that, Todd Downing probably really isn't the answer.
Honestly, this is my opinion. Mm-hmm. I have no source.
Are they Jim Schwartzing him?
I don't think so. Ian, who doesn't have a job.
Maybe so.
Like, Tim Kelly. I feel like this is kind of like just, hey, let's bring in Timmy because we got an opening here to bring in Tim Kelly.
And our offense needs help.
Here's the problem, though, with coordinator as far as like an offensive overseer.
Analyst.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Confidant.
As compared to Schwartz. What the hell's Tim Kelly done? Schwartz has won Super Bowls. Schwartz was the best defensive coordinator the Titans have probably ever had. Like, what's Tim Kelly done?
Texans OC.
Okay.
One of the worst teams in the league.
Like, so what? Why do I care about that? And then the other thing, too, is if your issue is with play calling, it's not like all of a sudden Downing's going to have the cue sheet in front of him and it's going to be a second down where you only get 40 seconds, and half of that they cut off the communication system anyways. So you're sitting there and you're like, Eagle Eye 24, double X, Queen 3, and Tim Kelly's like, no, don't run that. Like, you can't do that.
No, that's true.
So what's it matter? So I'm sure people will get excited about it, but we're not even allowed to know how much of an impact Schwartz has had. So who knows? Coming up next, there is a cold war right now with both Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. And it's different than most opportunities in the NFL. I will explain next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Did you see the Tennessee Titans? He has all the weapons to make it happen.
There's so much to pay attention to. Greeny from 9 to 11.
Ryan Tannehill is the most disrespected player.
Art and Han from 11 to 2.
You never stop punching. They've got to learn how to close the deal.
And the Paul Feinbaum Show afternoons from 2 to 6.
Are these legitimate contenders to the party?
Your exclusive home for ESPN Radio in the Music City.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Bob's Steak and Chop House is a renowned award-winning steakhouse in major cities across the U.S. Nashville is lucky to have a location here in downtown at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Fine dining is brought to a new level at Bob's with awards like the Wine Spectator Award 4 years in a row, TripAdvisor Certificate of Excellence 5 years in a row, and Open Tables Diner's Choice Award 6 years in a row. Fine dining at its best. Bob's Steak and Chop House, open Wednesday through Saturday, 5 to 10 p.m. in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Complimentary valet parking is always available.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Music City. Start a profitable new chapter of your life and be your own boss with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. In fact, no matter where you are, from Green Hills to the Gulch to down in Franklin, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com. And then make that call.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving 5-star service. With Karen Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, Fireball Hot Take Friday, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. So, you ever been in a situation where you're waiting on somebody else to make the first move?
Yes.
You just wait on somebody else to make that first move. Well, guess what? That's what Aaron Rodgers, the Packers, and whatever team is going to trade for him, that's where they are right now. And I was thinking about this today when I was listening to Dan Graziano talk about Aaron Rodgers, and I was listening to ESPN talk about it, and they were saying, well, Rodgers has a $40 million cap hit for next year. The Packers are X amount of dollars over the cap. But if he wants to stay in Green Bay, then he can work on a new deal with the Packers that will get them to be able to work with Rodgers to make the move to get him there, right?
Yes.
So I think with a lot of things in life, people think that decisions are made, especially in sports, as if it's like one person's decision. So it's like, okay, Green Bay has to decide what they want to do with Rodgers. But that's not really true, right?
It isn't necessarily true.
Because we know what Green Bay wants to do.
Yeah, they want to keep him. They've already said, Matt LaFleur said a long time ago, we are all on the same page that we want Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback of this team.
Okay, in fact, let's use Seattle too.
Mm-hmm.
What does Seattle really want?
They want Russell Wilson to stay.
Okay, so they want the guy to stay. Then what does the team that's going to trade for him want?
To the player to want to leave.
Yeah, they want the team to trade them, the player.
Yes.
Then the player has to decide what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's all very complex. Ian, I'm sorry, if you could, Dan Graziano today was talking about how Aaron could help out Green Bay because Green Bay has no idea what they can do until they decide what. Because if Aaron says, I'm not going to come, then what's Green Bay going to do? Now it totally changes their whole cap and everything that they got to think about. And now the teams that are trying to trade for Aaron then are going to say, okay, now's our chance to make offers or things like that. But what if you're a place Aaron doesn't want to go to? Like Washington. Then what do you see? You're waiting on both Aaron and you're waiting on Green Bay. Here's what Dan Graziano said about the power that Aaron has in this trade process.
If he shows up at training camp and says, okay, great, now you owe me 40, or it would even be before that, they couldn't put together a roster with that as his cap number, right? So he can force something here.
Correct. Now, what's interesting is trading him, you can't officially trade him until the league year starts. So they're going to have to carry that cap number right up until the start of the league year anyway. So
like March 16th?
15th, 16th, whatever. So thereabouts. So they can work out a trade like the Lions and the Rams did last year with Stafford.
Right.
But they don't get the relief, the cap relief, unless they redo the contract with him as a condition of the trade. So, he has a lot of leverage. Right. He could show up and then they can't put their roster together.
Okay, so Aaron can really screw the Packers if he wants to.
I'm sure he wants to.
But then for Aaron, he's got to know who wants to trade for him and then what are they going to do with me on my contract? And then these teams that are lining up for Aaron, they want to know, does Aaron want to come here? And then they want to know, what is Green Bay looking to get in exchange for Aaron? So, for example, the Titans, who have said, we love Ryan Tannehill, Ryan's our guy. If they want Aaron, they not only have to meet Green Bay's asking price, but Aaron also has to want to be here. Now, we heard A.J. Hawk on the Pat McAfee show reply to our report, and A.J. Hawk was all like, well, Aaron might be open to the Titans, but he might be open to everybody. Or, oh, yeah, Aaron's friends with Vrabes, but he might not want to play in the AFC. Or, all those kind of caveats. Mm-hmm. So who's going to make the first move? Because, again, if Aaron says today, and Aaron has not ruled anything out, right? Retirement. The only thing he ruled out was free agency.
In free agency.
The only thing Aaron's ruled out publicly.
And yeah, I feel like he's also ruled out going back to Green Bay.
But we don't know that.
We don't know that.
But Green Bay wants Aaron to stay. So you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a very complicated.
But if Aaron Rodgers goes to Green Bay and says, I do not want to be here, I want to be traded.
Then Aaron made the first move.
Okay.
So so that's what we're waiting for. Who's going to make the first move? And this is where I think the Titans are in an interesting and precarious situation. I honestly think it's probably harder to trade for Russell right now because I think there's a chance Russell might go back to Seattle. Mm-hmm. I don't think Aaron wants to go back to Green Bay.
I think it's very obvious that he does not want to go back.
Okay.
He hasn't wanted to go back.
So here's where the Titans are in a tough spot. Tannehill's the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And clearly, now I don't care about this, but they do. if you're going to try to make a move for Aaron Rodgers, you have to know you're going to get him, because the second you try to make a move for Aaron, then Tannehill's going to know that he's not your guy anymore. And I don't think they want to make Tannehill feel like he's not the guy. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. Well, now you're competing with Denver, because Denver very much is lining up at the gate. You know, like somebody who's
hiring their offensive coordinator.
Denver is like somebody who sleeps outside the movie theater a week before a Star Wars movie because they want to be the first person to see it. They are outside Lambeau Field, and they are in their tents and sleeping bags, and they are waiting for the Green Bay Packers to open the door for business.
They snatch them right up.
And so the Titans can't do that, because if the Titans do that, then Tannehill knows. Mm-hmm. But I keep wondering who's going to make the first move here. I think it has to be Rodgers.
I was going to say it has to be Aaron.
But I don't think he wants to do that.
Why not?
I don't know.
I think he does.
No.
I mean, he said it last year. He said, I don't want to go back to Green Bay, which is another thing, is we know that Aaron doesn't want to go back to Green Bay. And we are feeling like the best case scenario for the Titans would be if Aaron Rodgers comes up and says, I want to trade. But he didn't want to go back last year, and he did.
But now he's all buddy-buddy with Gutekunst.
Gutekunst?
Whatever. He's all buddy-buddy with him. Remember, like that? And so he's throwing curveballs. Aaron likes this.
Well, yes.
You know what I mean? Aaron likes the attention. He likes the fact.
He likes to be the topic of conversation.
Yes.
Whether it's good or bad in his life.
Yes. So, if Aaron doesn't make the first move, then Green Bay ultimately will, like by the tag-ish deadline, like they'll need to know something probably a week before the tag deadline, because then what do they do with Devontae Adams?
That's another caveat here. Is they
what
have to
about
trade him
Devontae?
by what, March 8th?
That is the tag deadline.
Yeah.
So then what do they do there?
Because I do remember Aaron Rodgers came out and said, I will make a decision about what I want to do with my future around February 22nd, which is
when that window opens.
The tag opens, yes.
So is everybody just waiting for that date for Aaron to make a move? And then once Aaron makes a move around February 22nd, then
but is that when he's going to make his
move?
Or is he just saying that?
And how do you make your move? Is your move by going to Green Bay and asking for a trade and giving them a list of teams that you'd be willing to go to? Or is it by telling Green Bay, I'm retiring if you don't trade me, now figure it out on your own? Mm-hmm. Or what is it? Because Green Bay wants Aaron to be open to everybody. Like A.J. Hawk said on McAfee, which was, well, of course he's open to the Titans. He's open to every team in the NFL, which we know is not true.
It can't be. He is open to any team that he feels like he can win a championship with right now.
So.
Because he's on a team that can win a championship right now.
So, well, and it's not just that. It's like, do you really want to go to like some crap team?
Do you guys really think retirement is off the table? Do you think it's possible he actually retires?
I do. I think he's going to play.
I think he's going to play, but I am not ruling out retirement as an option.
I'm ruling out retirement.
I'm not.
Why not?
A.J. Hawk said we're not ruling out retirement. I think it's an option.
But that's what he wants. And that's what Aaron wants everybody to talk about.
Well, if Green Bay won't trade him, I think that he would probably retire and just stick it to Green Bay.
I think he wants to stick it to Green Bay by holding up a Lombardi.
Or if he has a list of teams, and if it's not those teams, I'm done.
Maybe so.
That, I think, is the leverage. That's the leverage to basically be like, if I don't get what I want, I quit.
Yeah.
Which, again, is why he is as much a part of this. This is an equilateral triangle. And this is why everybody is the same. And this is why he's just as important as anybody else. So, again, I reported that he's open to the Titans, which A.J. Hawk confirmed that he is open to the Titans. Now, maybe he's open to everybody. I doubt it.
He's not open to the Lions.
He's not going to Carolina. He's not going to Washington. That's not going to happen. But at some point, somebody has to make the first move. Because, again, how is anybody going to know? And I'll give you an example of the first move. Adam Schefter reports Rodgers has told Green Bay he'd like to go to Tennessee. He'd like to go to Tennessee, Indianapolis,
Denver,
Miami, or whomever. And now the Titans know that they're in play. And if the Titans know that they're in play, then you call the Packers and you say, hey, what would it take? And then the Packers are going to try to drive the leverage up.
Are we ruling out San Francisco?
Yes.
Why?
Because
of
they
the
have
picks?
no picks.
I don't know if I'm totally ruling it out.
They have no picks.
I know.
Well, how do you trade with no picks?
Figure it out.
That's not what we never said that about draft picks.
I never said that. I know.
We said that about the cap.
I'm still not ruling it out.
How do you? I just don't get it.
Are we ruling out Tampa Bay?
I am personally, just because I don't think that, like, if he goes and wins at Tampa Bay, then I'll be like, well, Brady already did that.
And I don't think he wants that.
I don't think so.
And someone else mentioned in the text line, I want to say a couple days ago, would he rule out Indianapolis because he doesn't want to be in Peyton Manning's shadow? Either Indianapolis or Denver. And I think it's too far removed from that.
Like, did Manning worry about Elway's shadow?
Yeah, I think it's too far removed. At that point, you're in everyone's shadow at this point in the NFL.
Let's get your thoughts on it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Plus, is Denver, the one suitor that's put their hand in the air, is Denver a Super Bowl favorite if they get Aaron Rodgers? What they said on ESPN, we'll discuss that. And we're to your phones on it, 615-737-1025. Stillman and Company, Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Every Thursday at 1 on Darren, Donick, and Chase, we're joined by Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman for the best inside knowledge on the NHL. It's all brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Tired of being tracked online? DuckDuckGo can help. They help millions of people like you take control of their personal information online. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 sofas, sectionals, and mattresses are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery. All furniture at Social is top quality solid woods and designer fabrics. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Buy local, support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Nashville's best deal of the week is the Mainstay Bar and Grill in East Nashville. The Mainstay is located at 501 Main Street and is your local spot to enjoy all your sports along with great food and friends. With over 25 TVs, 20 taps, and nightly events like trivia and much more, you can't go wrong. The Mainstay Bar and Grill. Good drinks, good people, good times. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals now to get half off a $30 gift card to the Mainstay while supplies last.
Do you love Smashville? Join us February 12th and 15th to watch your Nashville Predators take on the Winnipeg Jets and Washington Capitals. Live from Bridgestone Arena. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make sure you get a seat or two. Whether you're bringing your honey or getting ready for a night out with your pals, Smashville is the place you need to be. Secure your seat and bring your gold. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make plans with the Preds. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Here's what I have to say about anybody who's questioning Tannehill is years past, even this year,
him having the confidence to throw it into situations and it's worked out before and you guys all that he was the greatest. Like, just because it didn't work out doesn't mean he's any different, dude. He's a stud. And with the boys ride or die with Tanny, he has literally revived the Tennessee Titans along with the new defense.
There you go, Taylor Lewan. Ride or die with Tanny on Bussin' with the Boys.
Ride or die.
Ride or die, but apparently we have some breaking
tea.
We got some tea to discuss. Caroline pointed this out to me, so I have pulled up Taylor Lewan's Twitter. But we are full on gossip now.
Full on gossip girls over here. But Michael commented on the stream and said Aaron liked a tweet from Taylor Lewan earlier to go on his podcast. So I put my FBI hat on, went to Aaron Rodgers' Twitter, and it is true. Taylor Lewan tweeted lots of rumors going around that Aaron Rodgers is dying to come on Bussin' with the Boys. All tier 1s, 2s, and 3s, which I don't know what that means, flood this man's mentions to let him know he is a welcomed guest.
Okay.
And Aaron Rodgers liked it.
So Aaron Rodgers liked the tweet
which could
from
be
Taylor
nothing.
Lewan about going on Taylor Lewan's podcast.
Yes.
What happened to Ride or Die with Tanny?
That's exactly what I thought. So last week we were Ride or Die with Ryan
Ride
Tannehill.
or Die with Tanny. Hey.
And a little bit of tea drops, and now they're not so Ride or Die.
Come on my podcast, Aaron.
You're Ride or Die with Ryan Tannehill until Aaron Rodgers becomes an option. And you know what? Not Ride or Die anymore.
Hey, you know what? Let's officially remove Taylor Lewan from the Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew because clearly he's interested in moving on.
Golf clap for Taylor Lewan.
And you know what? Here's what's crazy. And this is why Taylor Lewan, this is like when it comes to all this podcasting stuff and when you want to talk all this trash and you want to say all this stuff and then the fans boo you and you want to cry about it like a, whatever. Like, this is where I think Taylor Lewan got to understand something. How's Tannehill going to feel about that tweet? And you may be able to say all you want. Oh, I just want to bring him on the bus, and I just want him, just come on the podcast. I love you. I love it. Tannehill's going to see that tweet.
Well, and we talked about, will the national media, will we care if John Robinson goes back on, we're committed to Tannehill?
Sure.
People won't care if John Robinson flip-flops. If Taylor Lewan flip-flops, people care.
So, I think, I know what you're saying.
Yes.
And
I think that's also the price of having a podcast.
Taylor Lewan's opinion doesn't matter in this.
No, it doesn't.
Because Taylor Lewan might not be on the Titans next.
It doesn't matter, but the listeners to that podcast are Titans fans, I think, care.
Oh, through and through. But again, Lewan may not even be on the team next year.
Fair.
I have a very hard time seeing him return at the salary that he's set to make, given how much he doesn't play and how when he does play, it's average. But it's one thing for the team, the suits above that sit there and are like, hey, we got to explore every option. And, yeah, we called Green Bay on Aaron. But, it's one thing for Shanahan and Lynch to go out and get Jimmy's replacement and tell Jimmy, hey, Jimmy, this is for what's the best interest of the 49ers. We got to make decisions that are uncomfortable at this. It's another thing for your teammates on your side of the ball to want to woo the other guy.
Do you think Tannehill would view it as, it's just, this guy has a podcast and he gets other players on all the time? Or does he view it as, there's been a lot of talk this week about Aaron Rodgers coming to the Titans, and now a guy on my own team is having him on his podcast?
Oh, Tannehill's scared to death about this Rodgers stuff.
Probably so, but I wonder how
he's scared to death of the idea of going to go play for the Carolina Panthers.
Dylan Radins also liked it.
Screw him.
I'm just saying.
Who cares what he thinks?
I'm just saying.
Who cares what he thinks? He might be the left tackle of the team next year, but who cares what he thinks?
I'm just trying to dig up more tea.
I hear you. What do you think? How do you think Tannehill interprets this?
If I were him,
Taylor's just bringing him on his podcast.
If I were him, I'd be like, what the heck, Taylor? I am your quarterback. You told me that you were ride or die with me last week, and now you're bringing another guy who may or may not take my job on your podcast. I'd be pissed.
Ian, how do you think Tannehill's going to take it when he sees this Taylor Lewan tweet if he hasn't already seen it?
Well, I think they would be able to differentiate the business side versus the football side in this situation, probably.
But there wouldn't be a little chunk in the back of Tannehill's mind?
I mean, it's possible, but I think he would probably be able to realize, hey, you're trying to get a top quarterback on the podcast. It's off season. This is kind of what you guys do. I get it. I won't take it too personal.
I'm much more petty than Ian is.
I almost think there's like a level of Tannehill wouldn't openly be mad at Lawan.
No.
But it would be like okay.
Put some doubt in there, you think?
Yeah, it's like okay, I see how it is.
Stomach.
Everybody in town's mad at me because I blew the game, but at least my teammates believe in me. And then it's like, do you really believe in me? Or are you are you trying to jump to the next best thing?
Actions speak louder.
But instead of saying it, that Tannehill would internalize that, and that would be in Tannehill's mind.
Yeah, he's not going to say anything.
Of like, do these guys really believe in me? You know, do they really believe in me? I don't know. I'd be careful if I was Lawan. And again, Lawan's not guaranteed to come back next year either. I'd put it at like 60% that he comes back. For whatever that's worth.
I mean, I go back and forth with this because I tell myself, how in the world can the Titans afford this guy with how little he's been able to produce for this team in the past 3 years? But also, who's going to be your left tackle?
Oh, and Lawan? They'll figure it out, right? They did that with right tackle.
But were we thrilled about the solution at right tackle?
Are we thrilled with Lawan at left tackle?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not for $14 million.
615-737-1025 is our phone number to your phone. Just want to get that T out there. Rick is up next. Phone lines on a Fireball Hot Take Friday, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Go ahead, Ricky.
Greetings.
Go ahead.
Hey, for all the people out there, Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay. Sorry, people.
Why?
He has a house there. He's partial owner of the Bucks. Why would he do all that? Explain that.
Well, he doesn't live there in the offseason on purpose as well. He has a house here now, apparently, or is in the process of building one.
He has 2 houses in California also. But
okay, then your whole point about him staying in Green Bay because he's got a house doesn't matter now, does it?
I have a hunting cabin up in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. I have a house in Franklin. Okay, do you want me to play football for the Titans? He's not leaving Green Bay. Just like last year. Remember the big hoo-ha last year? He's not going to play for Green Bay last year either, right?
I don't disagree with you that there's a legitimate chance that he ends up leaving Green Bay or ends up staying in Green Bay. I'm not saying that he can't. I would just say that you have not presented very compelling evidence to me as to why he's going to stay in Green Bay.
Well, I'm just saying that he's not leaving. It's just like last year, everybody said the same thing. He's leaving Green Bay. He's leaving Green Bay. Adam Schefter had all that fake news.
Rick, I appreciate your call. I mean, we were the show that was like, Aaron had no leverage last year. Aaron's got leverage right now. All Aaron's got to do is retire. The Packers are so far over the cap. Then what are they going to do? And then as soon as he unretires, now they have to get rid of him. I mean, he has leverage now. He did not have leverage last year. Last year was like, fine, retire. Go see what happens to you. Now they've built it so that he's got legitimate leverage. I'm not saying Rodgers isn't going back to Green Bay. I'm just saying the whole, well, he's got a house there argument doesn't work.
If we're using the house argument.
That's the one argument that doesn't work.
He's playing for the Rams, the Chargers, the Titans, and the Packers. Congratulations, Aaron Rodgers.
And I'm sure he's probably got houses other places.
I'm sure.
But
I think he has a house in Denver, too. So congratulations to the Broncos. You have a new quarterback.
Does he have a house in Denver?
I think he does. I know for certain his fiance lives in the Denver area.
Bob is up next on Taylor Lewan's podcast. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, guys, I got a different angle I'm taking on this. So we all know how much Taylor's been talking about, how much he wants to come back, wants to come back. What if they cut him? You think he's reaching out so maybe he could go to Green Bay and be with Rodgers and Rodgers stays in Green Bay?
I mean, no, I appreciate your call, Bob. I don't think he's thinking that.
I don't know.
I don't think he's thinking that. I mean, the Packers are going to have to cut. Basically, there's 3 players on the Packers that they want to keep. There's Rodgers, Adams, and some middle linebacker I've never heard of, Claiborne or something. Mm-hmm. And then other than that, everybody else is on the chopping block. Whether it's plus they got Bakhtiari at left tackle. Mm-hmm. But there's all these, like the Smith brothers are probably going to get cut, and all these DBs. Like
Aaron Jones.
Yeah, all these guys are on the chopping block for Green Bay. The three players they care about are Rodgers, Adams, and this middle linebacker I've never heard of. But Bakhtiari, I think, redid his contract, and it's like and I was playing around with it today, he's like $15 million against the cap right now. But, bless you.
Thank you.
He's like $15 million or so against the cap right now. But if they cut him, it's like $20 million against the cap. So there's more dead money than there is in like actual money if Bakhtiari's on the team. So they already have a left tackle. So they're not going to do that. And again, I don't think Taylor thinks like that. I think this is what I think. I think Taylor thinks, what would be just badass if we got Rodgers on the bus? Oh, yeah, for the boys. Yeah. Like, that's what he thinks.
Probably so.
And so he makes...
And it's a big name, and he's been talked about a lot.
And look, Taylor's getting attention from us. He's joining the circus of trying to get attention off the Aaron Rodgers thing, which is amazing.
Real recognize real.
Because everybody has just been crapping on me this week, and yet everybody's trying to get in. That's why I'm kind of like Pat McAfee now. Because,
that's why?
Yeah, sure. I mean, at least McAfee's like, yeah, like I'm rolling with this info.
And again,
Good
we've
stuff.
acknowledged so many times that it's just, just some things that we've uncovered, and it may have zero legs whatsoever. We understand that.
You know what the best is? Like the people that stick their nose up. Oh, I'll continue this on the other side. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We're going to give away some Sammy Hagar tickets later today. 615-737-1025. Stillman & Company. Fireball Hot Take Friday at ESPN 1025 The Game.
Hey, this is Matt Duchene, and this is Smashville.
Running down the left side with Duchene. Duchene scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network, ESPN 1025 The Game.
They've rocked over 35 million fans around the world. It's my Bon Jovi, the 2022 tour. Bridgestone Arena, Saturday, April 30th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bon Jovi, all their anthems for one incredible night. Presented by Hampton Water. For more, check bonjovi.com.
My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven. But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Greenprint, financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at regions.com/Greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Sunday.
Green flag and the Busch Clash is underway.
The NASCAR season is here as the best drivers in the Cup Series tackle the LA Coliseum for the first time in the Busch Clash. Coverage begins at 1:30
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
That's multiple sources. TriStar Moving, Stillman Company, 102.5 The Game in Nashville. That is a lot of news there, AJ. As best friend of Aaron Rodgers, your take on old Cuzzy there, who's given us a lot of goods.
Yeah.
That guy's giving the sports world a lot of goods, a lot of sources, a lot of inside information.
The first two things, he's not lying, right? Or he might not be lying. He said he's building first off, he contradicted himself when it says he purchased a home. It said at the bottom, and then he says he's building a home. The guy says, okay, that's two different things right there. Okay. And then he said he would be open, air quotes, open to joining the Titans. Yep, just like he'd be open to every other team in the NFL, I believe. So I guess the fact that they do tie him there, I don't know.
And then his last one with another source?
Yeah, of course. You have 90 teammates. You can talk to one dude. Hey, you think Aaron will come back? No chance, man. Boom, you run with it.
Okay, thank you for putting all of those to bed. And I think the difference between buying a home and building a home.
There's definitely not zero chance that Aaron goes back to Green Bay, though. We all know that.
Okay, there you go. AJ Hawk on the Pat McAfee Show talking about our report. And boy, AJ Hawk was mad.
Yeah, he sounded a little frustrated.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
As we get back to, because I was talking about this before we went to the break, and it was the amount of people that are angry about the Aaron Rodgers report this week that then go and talk about it. Like, there's a lot of people.
Well, I mean, it's worth talking about, even if it makes you angry.
But
even if you don't like it.
They get mad about it. Like Corey Curtis. When Corey Curtis came on the show today, and I was like, what do you think about the Aaron Rodgers rumors and gossip? Saying it's gossip. Corey, and I love Corey, but he was like, I just can't put together him buying a house in Williamson County. Does that mean George Kittle's coming to the Titans? Because George Kittle is not looking for a new team.
And
Corey ain't the only one, by the way. Everybody in town has been like, we didn't think this was a big deal, so let's talk for 30 minutes about how we don't think it's a big deal. I'm like, that if it's not a big deal, why is everybody talking about it?
If it's not a big deal, then don't talk about it.
I mean, Pat McAfee had Ian Rappaport on, and he asked him today, said, so what do you hear at the Combine with everybody else? Ian, if you can, that question to Rappaport from today, just listen to the question here from McAfee as he's asking him, which basically, and Rappaport is one of the chief NFL network, insiders. And if there was a story that was beneath Ian Rappaport would let you know that it is beneath Ian Rappaport. Here was the question from McAfee.
How do you think that whole thing is landing right now, and what are you hearing from around the league when everybody's drunk at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, the Nashville thing was interesting because, if he's buying a house, first of all, he's 38 years old.
So basically, Rappaport ain't throwing that under the bus. He's been talking to people about it. Everybody's been talking about it. And yet, all I ever hear is all these people are like, I don't think this is important. And our local media has been really bad about it. I mean, our local media has been real bad about it. But it's almost like, why are people so, I'll at least give LaJuan credit with him trying to get Aaron Rodgers on his podcast. LaJuan's like, let me get some of this.
Well, I think a lot of people view it as, it means nothing. People move here all the time. It means nothing. And we've acknowledged several times that a lot of famous people move here, and this is a very desirable place to live. So I think a lot of people view it as, we know that he doesn't want to be in Green Bay, and everyone moves to Nashville, so it doesn't matter. But it's tough for me. I acknowledge all of that, but it's tough for me to just write it off as, nope, doesn't matter, non-starter, not at all. Especially when we think the Titans should be in the market for a quarterback. I mean,
there's two branches of this. There's kind of the national discourse, which I think the national discourse for the most part has been like, it doesn't really necessarily mean anything, which is what we said the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's definitely some tea.
It is some tea.
Like today Fox talked about it on the Nick Wright show.
Yeah.
They talked about it, but they didn't want to talk about the Titans. Because the bottom said, Aaron Rodgers reportedly, it said report, Aaron Rodgers open to playing for Titans, which it would be nice if they give credit where the report came from, since we talk about things that they say on Fox all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, so they were talking about it, but they turned the discussion into, Would Aaron want to go to the AFC? Because they don't want to talk about the Titans. If this were the Cowboys and he were buying a house in Dallas or Arlington.
Oh, it would be the biggest story in sports.
Oh, God.
The biggest story in sports.
Oh, my goodness. So nationally, they want to talk Rodgers, but they don't want to talk this necessarily because they don't want to talk rumors about the Titans. I got to give McAfee credit because at least McAfee is like, hey, where there's smoke, I'm rolling there.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Taylor on his podcast. Taylor's like, hey, this is a big story. This would be great. I don't think Taylor realizes that tweet that he sent out trying to get Rodgers onto the podcast, that could upset Tannehill internally, even if Tannehill doesn't say it. But I think it's just Taylor Lewan is like trying to get in on the attention of the Rodgers story, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Then there's the local media side of this. Our local media. Oh, my goodness gracious.
I think a lot of local media members are dismissing it because
they have turned their nose up to it.
Because they don't think that Ryan Tannehill, there's an issue with Ryan Tannehill, and they think that Ryan Tannehill will be the quarterback.
I don't think that's it.
What do you think it is?
I think it's
you?
me. I think it's me. I think it's the idea that I'm the one that put this out there. And because, like, the local media people and, like, I would say, like, I have a nice relationship with, like, everybody. Mm-hmm. For the most part. I mean, like, I know that there are certain people that don't like me, and I know who doesn't like me, and I know when they say hey and they're saying hey, like I know deep down inside they don't like me.
Yeah.
But, like, for the most part, the local media people that, like, they understand, like, hey, this is great for talk radio. You know, this is a great talk radio. But I think there's, like, an element of this that is, like, well, I think it's twofold. One, I think it's there's part of it that's too good for it. Mm-hmm. They're too good for the story. Because, like Joe. Because, like, again, before we went with this story, Joe knew it because I told Joe. And
I think
we were talking about Joe's reaction to it, which Joe was like, oh, that's all, I'm too good for the news.
Well, it's the writer and reporter mindset where nothing is news unless it is concrete, hardcore fact.
Sure.
Which what we reported isn't not fact, but it's not a writer's or a reporter's job to speculate.
But I do think
that's what we do.
And so I think there's some of that. Like TD said on the show yesterday, like, yeah, I've been looking through it. I'm trying to figure this out or whatever. Like,
but TD even said this is for talk radio.
But I think there's an element here that's like, because it's me, there's like a jealousy angle of like, oh God,
they
Jared.
just don't like you.
Well, they don't like the style in which I do things, and maybe the crassness with which I talk. I don't know. But I think there is an element of that.
Probably so.
But I think that's ridiculous. And I'm not saying that not liking me is.
Of course you think that's ridiculous.
No. I'm not saying the me part of it is the ridiculous. I think, like, I'm not saying that people not liking me is ridiculous. I don't care about that. I get it. I'm like a wrestling guy or something. It is the fact that your opinion of what is the biggest story in town right now, or your willingness to discuss the biggest story in town, is shaded because of the fact that we're the ones who reported it. And that's just embarrassing. That's just like, okay, fine. Go talk about the Pro Bowl. Go talk about the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl's great.
Nobody gives a rat's tail about the Pro Bowl, but go talk about it. Knock yourself out.
Sure.
But there has been, there's a lot of, anger about this. I guess I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't say I would rule it out, but I just, now let me go talk for 30 minutes about how I think this is not a story, even though it's the one thing everybody wants to talk about.
If you don't think it's a story, then don't entertain it.
Don't talk about it. Talk about the Pro Bowl. Let's go to Cedric, who's up next here on Stillman & Company on Ryan Tannehill. Thank you for calling on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Go ahead, Cedric.
No, man, I don't want to talk about Ryan Tannehill. I want to talk about Jared Tannehill because that's who you've been the last 2 weeks. You have thrown pick after pick after pick the last 2 weeks since this game, man. First of all, last Tuesday, I took notes, man, so you can't go back and say I didn't say that. Last Tuesday, you said, well, if Steve McNair was the quarterback, I have no doubt in my mind we would have won the game. What happened?
No doubt.
What did Steve McNair do? What did Steve McNair do against the Ravens the last playoff game in 2000? What did he do?
Steve McNair?
Interception? Yeah, he threw a pick. He
threw one interception in a game that if they had made their field goals, it wouldn't have mattered.
No, Stillman. You said, I took notes, bro, because I knew you was going to do this. You said, I have no doubt last drive, Steve McNair would have taken us down the field, and we would have won the game.
Hey,
and
Cedric.
against the Ravens, what he did was throw a pick.
How did the Steelers? Tell me about the Steelers game in 2002?
We're not deflecting. We're not deflecting.
Hey, you got a playoff game. You got a playoff game where Steve McNair threw a ball that hit Eddie George in the shoulder pad, popped up in the air for Ray Lewis to take it back when the Titans were in desperation. Let me ask you. You got your playoff game. I get my playoff game.
You trying to hijack
the 2002 game at home. 2002 game at home in the playoffs, divisional round against the Steelers. What happened?
He did the same thing Tannehill did against the Patriots. So what's your point?
How so?
He won the game. That's exactly what Tannehill did.
No. Here's what happened, Cedric. So I'm gonna give you a little refresher here. Titans had a nice early lead. Eddie George fumbled. Pittsburgh scored. Then Steve McNair threw an interception. Pittsburgh scored. Then it was a dogfight down to the very end. McNair busted his thumb open in the middle of the game, had to come out for a couple of plays, went back in the game. In overtime, Titans get the ball. Steve McNair goes right down the field. They kick a field goal. They win. On to the AFC Championship game, the thing Ryan Tannehill couldn't do. In spite of all of his mistakes early in the game against the Bengals, Ryan Tannehill got the ball at the end of the game with the opportunity to go down and win it, just like Steve McNair did against the Steelers, and he did. Against the Ravens in 2003 on the road, Steve McNair threw, I think, 3 interceptions in the game, and it was a dogfight because of that, and the Titans got the ball at the end of the game in spite of McNair's mistakes, and he hit Aaron Kinney for a big pass, and it set up Gary Anderson's game-winning field goal. They beat the Bengals if Steve McNair was the quarterback, and you know it, Cedric.
Nope. I don't know it. I don't know it. And the other thing, here's the other pick you're throwing. When we were looking for a coach, were you on the radio talking about Rex Ryan lives in Franklin? I mean, we don't know if would I take Aaron Rodgers? Man, I would take Aaron Rodgers in a heartbeat. But we don't know if he's coming. It's cute. It's cool to talk about. But, yeah, right now that's a pick, bro. That's a pick, man.
How?
Be better, man. Be better. Come on, Jerry, man. Come on, man. I told you I think you're the next Colin Cowherd. But, bro, you missed the boat on this, bro. All right, man, I'm out, man. I got to go. I can't
Thank
talk
you,
to you
Cedric.
no more, man. I'll see you next week, bro.
I got to tell you, I think Steve McNair takes a little off.
In what way?
Well, again, the Titans lost the game against the Ravens where they had to go down the field to kick, but they'd missed 4 field goals. Mm-hmm. That's the best defense maybe ever. Nobody pins that game on Steve McNair. McNair made mistakes against the Steelers in 2002, and they went right down the field at the end of the game, but the game on the line, kicked a field goal, won it.
And
McNair
we've also
made
acknowledged
a bunch of mistakes against the Ravens.
We've acknowledged that quarterbacks make mistakes. The best quarterbacks throw interceptions and fumble the ball. They make mistakes.
They were down by 3 on the road at New England. They were down by 3 in the divisional round, the last playoff game of the Steve McNair, Eddie George era. Mm-hmm. And, this game was like minus 20. Derek scored a touchdown, and I forget how the Titans scored another touchdown, but they're going down the field, and it is 4th and forever. And I think Vrabel has told the story that Steve McNair hit him in the chest in this game, and that he felt it for like a week after Steve did, because Steve was so big.
Right.
Steve McNair on 4th and forever with Rodney Harrison coming right at him full bore, puts up the most beautiful ball, and it hits Drew Bennett in the hands, and it drops to the turf. Steve McNair was the definition of game on the line, put the ball in his hands. And to sit there and act like Steve McNair would not have won that game against the Bengals is downright blasphemy when we're talking about Steve McNair. When you talk about Tannehill, whatever you want to talk about Tannehill, you want to say Tannehill's great, whatever you want to say about Tannehill, you say about Tannehill. But do not be sullying the name of Steve McNair when it comes to that Bengals performance and that last drive. 615-737-1025. Your thoughts after this, plus the one question I have for everybody out there when it comes to this great Aaron Rodgers speculative debate. We'll do that next. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
Calmer weather carries us into the weekend. Overnight, mainly clear. Cold, though. Temperatures will be in the upper teens to low 20s. Tomorrow, middle 30s for your highs and bright sunshine. Sun continues on Sunday with a high right near 50 degrees. Calm Saturday and Sunday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Want the same internet but more privacy? DuckDuckGo's got you covered. They help millions of people like you get privacy online without any trade-offs. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, Program Director at 102.5 The Game, and when our crew is out, we want to look our best. Thankfully, we have Authentically American taking care of all of our apparel. The way your team looks is everything. Enhance your company's image with the help of veteran-owned and operated Authentically American. For you parents out there, they'll take care of your kids' team apparel too. It's Authentically American, and yep, it's made in America. Check them out at authenticallyamerican.us. Mention The Game, and they'll handle the setup and artwork free of charge. That's authenticallyamerican.us.
For the love of the climb, for the love of the fall, for the love of knowing your kids' laughter is the sweetest music there is. For the love of Tennessee. Travel safe. Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Do you think he has any idea what he's doing football-wise at this moment? And does the house property there any difference to that? To any other places? He has houses in L.A.
Yep.
Malibu. Oh, Justin Herbert, is he on the move?
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking though? It's like, hey, this guy's got places in some places. We can't look into every single one of them like this.
No, he has a ton of money. He may have not even visited the place. But he may have got a text from somebody he trusts. Hey, man, sweet place up here. You want a lot by me? Cool. Here, man. Where's my wiring instructions?
Bobby Carpenter.
Hey, not only Bobby, Zito did the same thing.
Yeah.
Zito didn't even see the house he bought. He just had tell me where to send the check. He bought it. He moved in. Turned out there's a lot more checks to come.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything in the photos wasn't exactly how it appeared to be in real life. But that's big time stuff. All right, so we can put that to bed. Aaron Rodgers not necessarily going to the Titans. He just likes
He could.
Come on.
I'm not saying he's not.
Probably.
I'm just saying like everything is not a giant story, but yeah, it's not impossible for him to go to Tennessee.
So he's not going to Tennessee? No. I'm not saying that.
impossible.
AJ Hawk on Pat McAfee, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Radio, Channel 82. So I just have this one question to the Boo Hoo Tannehill crew. And I feel like we have heard a lot this week from the Boo Hoo Tannehill crew.
Well, of course. I mean, we're calling for his replacement.
Right, but we didn't hear from the Boo Hoo Tannehill crew after the Bengals game.
No, we did not.
Why'd they sit that one out?
Because they didn't have an argument after the Bengals game.
Okay. So this is all I'm going to say to the Boo Hoo Tannehill crew. And I like Tannehill. And remember, I was pro Tannehill over Brady, which for me to be pro anybody over Brady tells you that I must have really believed in that person at that time. Sometimes I feel, and this goes back to our last discussion, but sometimes I feel like sometimes people just don't want to hear things because it's coming from me.
Yes.
And I think that's ridiculous. And I'll tell you why I think this is ridiculous. Because we were right about Clowney. We were right about Julio. We were right about Carson Wentz. We were right about these Rodgers reports. Could we be right about Tannehill?
But yes.
But these people don't want to believe
Yes.
that. Well, and they just want to be mad at the messenger. They're like, that Jared Stillman is never right. I'm sorry. Do we not forget the 2 months of the Julio drama when everybody in town in the local meeting, woo, Julio!
But we're
Can you
not
imagine Julio with A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry and Josh Reynolds and Anthony Brown? Oh, my God. Oh, God, they're going to score every time down the field. We're like, whoa. He's old. He's hurt. We hear he's got a bad attitude. No. And if we're going to do this, then you better do it where you make them pay most of the money and then you give them the pick.
You don't give up too much.
You give a bad pick and then you take on the money. You're not going to do both. No, Jared, it's Julio. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame, Jared. Oh, how'd that work out? Clowney, Corey Curtis. They're back in the AFC Championship game if they get Clowney. How's that working out? Carson Wentz. I celebrated the Colts trading for Wentz, and Joe Rexrode went bananas on me about, my video and how I was so. And look how Wentz completely melted down at the end of the year. Every time we're right about something, people don't ever want to give us. And we say on the show, hey, I'm wrong about this, wrong about that. I thought they were going to beat the Bengals. I thought they would beat Cincinnati. Wrong about that. But, I mean, come on. This just idea that's out there that we can't ever be right about anything. It's ridiculous because we've been right about so much. But it's the things that you don't want to be wrong about. It's the things you don't want to hear. You want to hear Clowney will take this team to the Super Bowl and Julio will make this offense unstoppable. And that's what you want to hear. And it's like, I'm just saying what's what. People don't want to hear it.
No, because a lot of people want Ryan Tannehill to be the quarterback of the Titans for whatever reason it may be. So anyone who says that he probably shouldn't be based on fact, based on the fact that he threw away a playoff game by throwing 3 interceptions in a game that was completely winnable in your stadium after you got the 1 seed, like that's the fact. That isn't just speculation. That's not saying, Tannehill shouldn't be the quarterback. That is fact. That's what happened. So people don't want to look at that and say, yeah, maybe it should be time for a new quarterback. People want to look at that and say, that was 1 game. Look at everything he's done. Or
our guy's going to win for us, Jared.
Or they want to look at it and say, well, you want to go back to, Marcus Mariota?
I was wrong about Mariota. I was wrong about that.
Do you want to go back to the days where Titans quarterbacks were much worse than Ryan Tannehill? And to that I say, are you just closing your eyes to the fact that there could be a better option out there than Tannehill?
Boo-hoo, Tannehill.
Are you too afraid to take the risk that whoever's Tannehill replacement is may be worse than Tannehill? That's okay. You can be nervous about that, but I don't think that should stop you from trying to find something better.
What do we have in the text line? 615-737-1025. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
One texter texts into the text line and says it should always be the best person for the job, regardless of race, gender, color, just as it is with players. I think this might be, I thought it was about the quarterback, but I think they're talking about the Rooney Rule.
Oh, okay.
Another texter texts in and says, I agree all day with Corey Curtis, no to Rodgers, not in the locker room.
So, like, the morning show had a guy who covers the Packers on today, and the guy was like, yeah, the players love him. And I'm like, you know what I've realized? Unless you, sleep with somebody's wife, was it Quentin Richardson and Steve Nash? Unless you do that, the players don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. Unless you're a bad guy. And Rodgers maybe pushes it a little bit, honestly, for me. But unless you're a bad guy, the players don't care. Because if they love him in Green Bay, hell, all these guys are moving with him here.
Mm-hmm.
So they love him in Green Bay, then the Titans will love him here. Just like they loved Tannehill, just like they loved Marcus. So I'm not really all that worried about it.
Josh texts in and says, is it true that Devontae Adams is a package deal? If so, boot Julio out of here.
Well, now that's the tough part because that's actually hard to do.
Yeah.
Getting rid of Tannehill for somebody to take his contract, that's really not all that hard. Somebody will do that. The Julio thing might be tough. Plus, Julio's probably part of the pitch that's like, hey, AJ, Julio, Devontae. If you go with Devontae Adams, you may have to let go of Derrick Henry. That may be part of it. I have not heard that they're a package deal, And again, I can only report what I have been told that I know is true. So I don't know that one. So we'll leave that one in it. Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. We'll get his thoughts on this. And his thoughts on the fact that just a lot of people in Nashville just don't want to talk about this. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you'd like to go to Sammy Hagar, let's give away some tickets. Be caller 5 right now at 615-737-1025, and you'll go see Sammy Hagar and The Circle at the Ryman Auditorium on Tuesday, March 8th. Chad Withrow next, Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025, The Game.
Take us wherever you may go.
There are 2 guys on my untouchable list.
Tune us in anywhere, anytime.
Every team's got those. That's my point.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at Creation CBD. You hear me talk about them every single day because they present Darren, Donick, and Chase, and we are proud to be associated with them and happy about it. And if you have aches and pains, on your body, whether it's from working out, being active, getting older, and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. Creation CBD. Creation means healing, and that says a lot. Creation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here in Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Creation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use, including your pets. And you've heard me tell this story. Our female German Shepherd has had seizures for over 3 years, and lots of them. No matter how many pills a day she was on, the vet visits, nothing changed. But since putting her on the pet tincture, everything has changed. The seizures have stopped, she's lost weight, and she's a dog again. Right now, Creation CBD has got a special offer for DDC listeners. Go to CreationCompany.com, get 25% off your order by using the code DDC25 at checkout. DDC25 at checkout for 25% off your Creation CBD products. It's Creation CBD, curated for life.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at ParmanTractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Signs First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Got a party of 10 coming in. We need to flip those 2 tables.
Leah's restaurant is fully booked night after night.
Section 3 is still behind.
She no longer has reservations about finally finding a hostess.
Why doesn't 23 have menus? Oh, because they're in my hand.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When a nasty cold keeps you up all night, Vicks NyQuil Severe gives you powerful relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms, which changes a night that sounds like this into a night that sounds more like this. Ah, that's better. NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, stuffy head, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold, medicine. Use as directed.
Hey, I'm Matthias Ekholm, and this is Smashville.
Ekholm is shot, he scores! Matthias Ekholm gets the Predators' third of the night.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WP WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Good morning.
Morning.
Robbie and Rex Road mornings from 6 to 10.
It's not bad. Might have to work on that. It's not bad. It's a starting point.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Karen Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. So a lot of gossip, a lot of drama out there about Aaron Rodgers, a lot about it, about the Titans, and a lot of people telling us this is a non-story, don't waste time, don't talk about it. And yet, Caroline, I think you can back me up that the more that we talk about this, the more people want to react to it, the more listeners, viewers, everything else that we end up apparently
It's like people can't get enough of Aaron Rodgers.
They cannot get enough of this. And so we're going to give it to him. And instead of other people complaining about it, we'll just give it to him. And Chad Withrow joins us now, Outkick 360, as he always does on Fridays at 5 o'clock. Of course, presented by Apple Collision Centers, online at applecollisioncenters.com. Chad, your reaction to the Aaron Rodgers Titans, I want to say news because it is news, but it's also kind of gossip. What do you make of it?
It's so funny to me how people in media try to determine what the story is and not just following the stories. So, Jared, you broke a story earlier this week about Aaron Rodgers buying a lot, building on land in the greater Nashville area, let's call it. And then people want to try to say, well, it's not a story. Well, let's go back and look at your tweet. What was the activity on that tweet? What was the activity on your show this week? The audience determines the story, not hack writers out there. It's the audience that determines what the story is. And I hate to break it to writers or radio hosts or TV people or anyone who wants to say it's not a story. Aaron Rodgers is a huge story. Now, you can take it and say, well, Aaron Rodgers building a house in Nashville doesn't mean he's going to be a Titan. That's true. It doesn't mean that. But Aaron Rodgers moving to Nashville, not just building a house in Nashville or owning land in Nashville, but reportedly moving to Nashville is a story. Any celebrity of Aaron Rodgers' status, it would be a story. I think the mistake a lot of people have made is making it like, well, people care about this story, again, which it is, a story, turning it into, oh, they believe that now because he's moved to Nashville he's going to be a Titan, which no one said definitively was going to happen. It is still probably highly unlikely, but it's still a story, and it's not the people in the media that get to decide what the story is or isn't. It's the audience, and clearly the audience has decided it's a story.
The thing that we talked about in the last hour that we were just kicking around, I think locally a lot of people are hesitant to make a big deal out of this because I'm the one who broke it. And I don't know why that is, but it does kind of feel like, would you say that's probably fair, Caroline?
I think that's fair, yes.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is. I get it. I'm not the most lovable person, but, I mean, to your point, the audience decides what you should cover. And I feel like there are people that cover the Titans that don't want to talk about this, and I think it's because we broke it.
Caroline, don't hold back, by the way. We both know that's a big part of this as to why people don't want to credit Jared for the story, because either one of two things. Either they don't like Jared or they feel like their loyal Titans fans and their audience don't like Jared. So the last is give Jared any credit on breaking, again, something that is a story, because it's all anyone will ask me about. It's all anyone wants to talk about in Nashville right now in regards to the Titans. So I think there's a lot of that goes on. A big pet peeve of mine is when people in media refuse to credit someone who breaks a story, someone who starts a conversation, someone who is in an interview asking someone a question that gets a big response. There's a lot of people in local media I don't like. There's a lot of people in media that I don't like. But I'm going to credit them when they create something that's discussion-worthy for me or my show, or they break news. Again, this is where Nashville media fails their audience in that they let either personal grudges, personal feelings, or thoughts about what their fans or fans of a team feel are going to dictate how they cover something and who they give credit to. And it's not about that. There's been people that I don't like that I've had to credit for a story or credit for doing a good job in an interview that get people talking. That's the job. That's what happens when someone does something and you have a microphone in front of you or you have an audience on the internet or whatever the case may be, you give that person credit, period. And that didn't happen with you, Jared, in this story. And people hide behind, well, I said it on a video stream that, got 1,000 views for the day. But they won't tweet it. They won't tweet it. Why? Because they don't want to publicly associate with you for whatever reason. And that's wrong. I'm sorry. It's wrong. Doesn't matter what you feel about the person. Doesn't matter what you feel the audience feels about the person. It matters what's right. And what's right is to give someone credit for breaking a story. That's my rant.
Chad, I also thought one reason why some people may have been turning down the validity of the report is not just their loyalty to Titans fans who don't like Jared Stillman. It's also their loyalty to Ryan Tannehill. They don't even want to entertain the idea that there may be another quarterback coming in for the Titans.
Boo-hoo Tannehill crew.
The boo-hoo Tannehill crew, as we like to call it.
Yeah, Caroline, I think you're spot on with that. I'll also say I think deep down with a lot of people that are, the kind of the fanboy media out there, which every team has them, and that's fine. There's a place for that. I don't begrudge people that do that. I think part of it is secretly they really, really want Aaron Rodgers, and they yearn for Aaron Rodgers, and they don't want to get themselves excited about Aaron Rodgers. So they go over the top with this is never going to happen, and how dare you try to turn this into a story. And they go to the great lengths to deny that it could ever possibly happen. Because, honestly, they don't want to get their hopes up because they don't believe it's going to happen. Look, I'm on record. I don't believe it's going to happen. If you ask me right now, what do I think is going to happen next year? I think Ryan Tannehill is going to be the quarterback for the Titans. But I've also said consistently the Titans need to be looking into every possible opportunity to upgrade the quarterback position, and trading for Aaron Rodgers is one of those possibilities. Trading for Russell Wilson is another possibility. I want the Titans to look into this and try to make it happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's always a possibility. So I think that's what's key in this story.
Here's what bothers me. Chad Withrow's with us, Outkick 360. Here's what bothers me is, and I think you touched on this at the beginning, but this idea of well, just because he's buying a home in Nashville doesn't mean he's going to the Titans, so let's not talk about it. The audience doesn't care about the Senior Bowl. I'm sorry. Nobody cares about the Senior Bowl or the East-West Shrine Game or the Pro Bowl. So what else are you going to talk about?
You got pretty worked up about the East-West Shrine Game.
I got worked up about the fact that you didn't watch it. But other than that,
I got other things to watch.
Clearly. But that's my point, Chad, is I do feel like, as far as the Titans audience is concerned, all they want to talk about is Aaron Rodgers, so why not do it?
Yeah, look, it's, I look at a job in sports talk radio, especially in local sports talk radio, and I did this for a decade on a show. I look at it like, you're a top 40 station. You're playing the hits. I don't care if you like Taylor Swift or not. If Taylor Swift's got the hot album out, you're playing songs off that album for your audience. And I think the same goes for what people are talking about in the city of Nashville. And the people in Nashville, I'm telling you, Jared, I know you had the same thing. I get hit up with 15 texts a day about, is Aaron Rodgers a possibility? Is this really happening? Is he really moving to Nashville? This is what people are talking about. And now it's become even not just is Aaron Rodgers coming to Nashville, is it a story? Is it ridiculous to talk about? I can't believe someone would be talking about this. If people are so divided on whether or not to talk about Aaron Rodgers is a big story. I mean, every facet of this is a big story in Nashville. Nothing may come of it. We may get to the 2022 season, and Ryan Tannehill's the quarterback, and everything's the same, and nothing comes of it. But right now, in early February in Nashville, Tennessee, Aaron Rodgers is a big story. Whether it happens or not, I agree with you that this is what people want to talk about. And guess what? If they don't want to talk about him coming to Nashville, They want to talk about why they don't want him in Nashville, or they want to talk about why it's ridiculous to even mention him in Nashville. For that very reason, it is absolutely a story.
I mean, Rodgers has, come off as a little bit selfish in the past, and we were talking about this yesterday. A.J. Hawk said he and Vrabel are friends, and all of a sudden we just started talking about whether or not Rodgers and Vrabel would get along. I'm like, I think more people care about that than would care about, again, the Senior Bowl. Chad Withrow with us, Outkick 360. So I want to pose to him the big question about Aaron Rodgers that we put Corey Curtis on the spot for, and he said no to. So we'll do that coming up next. Chad Withrow again is with us, presented by Apple Collision Centers, online at applecollisioncenters.com, here on Stillman and Company. Fireball Hot Take Friday. You all know how much I love ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. The big game is upcoming, and if you're going to have a big game party, and trust me, a lot of people are having a party for the big game. If you're going to have a party for the big game, then you need to get ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. It goes down so smooth and it tastes so great, and there's no better way to celebrate the big game than with Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Please ignite tonight. Please do it responsibly and be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jared Stillman and Company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Mark Howard here to tell you about my friends at Apple Collision Centers. We all know being in a collision is not fun. Neither is all the stress that comes with it. And that's where Apple Collision comes in. Let them take care of everything for you. That's insurance, repair, and your rental details. They've got 3 convenient locations in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Their managers, Tommy Rippey, Daniel Neville, and Chris Brooks and Marty Denson, combined for over 75 years experience. So stop in today and tell them Mark sent you. Online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Do you love Smashville? Join us February 12th and 15th to watch your Nashville Predators take on the Winnipeg Jets and Washington Capitals. Live from Bridgestone Arena. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make sure you get a seat or two. Whether you're bringing your honey or getting ready for a night out with your pals, Smashville is the place you need to be. Secure your seat and bring your gold. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make plans with the Preds. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Robbie Stanley.
Sometimes the overthinking that takes place, pretty mind-boggling.
Joe Rexrode.
Thought there was an issue. There's not an issue. There's no issue. They're doing wonderful.
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
Taking care of business this early in the morning.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I do not want to deprive people of a close-up of my face.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
The Titans could do it. They would take a big cap hit, but I can't pretend that that's something that would make it like prohibitive. Like that doesn't. It would make it hard. I think it'd be $28 million cap hit.
27.5. Yeah.
Would it?
Yeah, 27.5. I think we have a full graphic actually. Yeah, there it is.
There you go. So they could do it. And like,
baby dirty.
I remember thinking last year that the Rams could never trade Goff because the cap hit was too bad. And then they just did it and dealt with it, got Stafford, paid for him, and just made it work. Like, these guys are so good, they could make it work. Yeah.
There you go. Ian Rappaport on the Pat McAfee Show saying the Titans could work it out with the cap for Tannehill. So everybody out there that says, oh, the cap, what about the cap? He says, look, they could make it work with Tannehill in order to get Aaron Rodgers on the team. So, as we started the show today, Caroline, I asked this question. If all it is 2 first-round picks and, let's say, a third in the next year's draft, so 2023, that's all it is for Aaron Rodgers, and then, again, they'll make it work on the money side of it. Is there any way that you wouldn't want to do that, where you upgrade at quarterback and all you're giving up are 2 1s and a 3? Chad Withrow with us, Outkick 360, as always, presented by Apple Collision Center. So, let's say Ian Rappaport's right, and they'll find a way to work the cap. Don't worry about it. 2 1s and a 3 next year for Aaron Rodgers. Would you do it, Chad?
I would do it, yes. I would do it. And I would do it for this reason. I think – I don't want to say draft picks are overrated, okay? But I do think that when you have a good roster, first-round picks can be overrated. And that sounds crazy to people. But, you know, the Rams have shown you can mortgage a bit of the future and go for broke in the immediacy, and it can pay off with the Matthew Stafford deal. And I think if you've built a good foundation, and let's face it, the Titans have not done very well in the first round. You know, the building blocks of this team, A.J. Brown, second round, Kevin Byard, third round. I mean, you can go down the list. They've got a couple good first-round picks also, but they've done very well in those middle rounds. And I think if you've done that, then you can sacrifice some first-round picks and go for broke. And I think the Titans are in position to go for broke. It is Super Bowl or bust time for the Titans. So I would absolutely do that. And I'll say this, too, about John Robinson. He is not risk-averse. He is not averse to making a deal or making a move. I think he's going to look into this. I say these things about if I'm the Titans, I would look into every option. I don't know that he could pull it off. But I fully expect John Robinson to at least explore the option. I don't know that we'll ever know how far along it got if he doesn't pull it off. But much like the Julio Jones moves last offseason, I really feel like John Robinson is going to look into doing anything he can to give this team a chance at the Super Bowl next year. And that includes if Aaron Rodgers is on the trading block, he's going to look into it.
Do you think that Robinson, because Robinson came out and said Tannehill's our quarterback, and I don't know anybody who stares down the barrel of a blitz and throws the ball as well as he does, which really depressed me on Tuesday. Do you think that's just saying it to pump up Tannehill right now, or do you think that this team is firmly committed behind Tannehill, and the idea that they would ever look behind his back is just completely and totally out of the picture?
I think they're firmly committed to Ryan Tannehill right now. I think they're firmly committed to Ryan Tannehill if they can't pull off a deal to bring in another quarterback. I think what John Robinson is saying, he's not lying about his feelings. Ryan Tannehill is a Titans quarterback right now. He is under contract. So he is going to say nice things about Ryan Tannehill. And that's not necessarily untrue for John Robinson. But I think if John Robinson made a deal for Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers or did something at the quarterback position, he could easily come back and say, yeah, when I said those comments, he was our quarterback, but I'm always looking for the best possible situation, and we found a different situation, and now this quarterback is our quarterback, and we firmly believe in him. I also think it's kind of odd how everyone who describes Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback, the first thing they say is he's tough. That's not the number one characteristic I want in a quarterback. I want them to be tough. Out to accuracy and moxie and being clutch. And those aren't really things that people say about Ryan Tannehill first and foremost. It's always that he's tough. You know, Taylor Lewan talks about his toughness. John Robinson talks about his toughness first. I don't know. I just find that a bit off-putting. Maybe that's just me.
So we have never really been through a full-blown quarterback search, you know, since I've been on the air. I know you have. I mean, because I think I got on the air right when they drafted Mariota, like a month before Mariota got drafted. But like a full-blown, true blue quarterback search, I haven't been through that. And I was thinking about this the other day. It feels like to me, I've done tons of talk about the Senior Bowl and what positions do the Titans need to look at in the draft and what's free agency and which guys do they need to cut and things. I've done all that. I just don't feel like the audience cares anymore. Like the idea of who looked good at the Senior Bowl that the Titans could draft. I'm sure come draft time, we'll care about the draft. But I just don't feel that right now as far as Titans fans are concerned. Maybe it's because that's how I feel kind of as a Titan fan, is the idea that I don't care what they do in the draft. I don't think they can win with Tannehill. Are you surprised maybe about how hard it is for Titans fans to turn off quarterback talk right now?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, look, we all watched that performance against Cincinnati. I mean, that was the moment that Titans fans were done with Ryan Tannehill. Whether publicly and loudly done with him or privately reserved themselves to say, yeah, this guy's just not getting it done in the playoffs. He's a good regular season quarterback. He's had some good moments in the regular season. But ultimately, he's not someone that's going to elevate his teammates and elevate his play in the postseason. So, no, it does not surprise me one bit that the storyline is quarterback for the Titans and not what's going on at the Senior Bowl. And I think evidence of that is every media member locally subtweeting you and the Aaron Rodgers story. I mean, that shows you that it's the story, that quarterback is a story. Whether you want to talk about Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, other possibilities, or whether or not it's a story at all that he's moving to Nashville, that just goes to show you with the subtweets, with the talk on your show, with the text that I'm getting and you're getting and everyone else is, that the number one topic for the Titans right now is quarterback. Now, I do think that, you know, Senior Bowl Combine is going to matter as you're getting closer and closer to the draft. But right now, the aftershocks of that performance and Ryan Tannehill's future is still the number one story in Nashville.
I think one of the things that makes it hard, too, Chad Withrow with us, I think one of the things that makes it hard, too, right now is watching the Bengals. Because, I give all credit to the Bengals, and I think Joe Burrow's a bad boy, and I think their defensive coordinator, for the adjustments that he's made in all of these games, but especially last week with Andy Reid, you know, deserves credit. I'm not taking anything away from the Bengals, but the Titans are better than the Bengals, and the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. And I don't think it's exactly the same as looking at the 2000 Ravens and saying that was your Super Bowl, but I don't think it's far behind, Chad. Like, I think there's something to this of, yo, you are better than that team, and that team is playing next Sunday, and you're not, and half your fan base is out there defending the quarterback, who's the main reason as to why the Titans aren't playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's tough. There's some serious FOMO going on with Titans fans right now, with Bengals fans. And it is difficult because, you know, it's not the Packers. It's not one of these legacy franchises. You know, it's not the Patriots now. It's not even a market like Los Angeles. It's Cincinnati, which is now a smaller TV market than Nashville. It's a team that has no great history, a team that's been either mediocre to bad for a while now. It's a team that, you know, was worse than the Titans this year. Titans were the number one seed. And now suddenly they've got a stud quarterback, and they're going to a Super Bowl. So for the Titans fans to sit there and look at Cincinnati doing this and this wild ride with their fan base, I think it hurts more. You know, I think it hurts more than Kansas City, who would be going to, the third straight Super Bowl they would be in this year. I think watching Cincinnati experience this, knowing that the Titans had it right there in front of them with 2 home playoff games to go to a Super Bowl, I absolutely think that it stings worse now for Titans fans because of that.
What do you make, Chad Withrow is our guest here on the program, what do you make of Taylor Lewan inviting Aaron Rodgers publicly? So last week, Lewan on his podcast was, the boys are ride or die for Tanny. Today, he invites Rodgers to come on the podcast. Rodgers likes the tweet. It's all gossip anyways. What do you make of that one?
Well, I think that Taylor Lewan is a really good promoter, and I think that he knows Aaron Rodgers on his podcast would have a lot of people listening to his podcast. Not that he doesn't already have a lot of people listening to his podcast. It's very successful. But I think he knows that would break some records if Aaron Rodgers hopped on the bus with those guys. So I think it's more of that than him being out on Tannehill. I also think there's way too much being made about, Taylor Lewan's defense of Ryan Tannehill. Taylor Lewan went to bat for Marcus Mariota and defended him at all costs, too, and talked about how he was the best leader possible for the Titans, and he was the man, and he should be the quarterback. And that's what offensive linemen are going to say about their quarterback. I don't begrudge him for saying that. I also believe that Taylor Lewan would be saying that about anyone that's the current starting quarterback for the Titans. So I really don't read too much into it.
So I guess Caroline's right. Caroline, we were talking about who all belongs in the Boohoo Tannehill crew.
Uh-huh.
So Chris Sanders.
Yes, he does. He is the founding member of the Boohoo Tannehill crew.
Mike Tannenbaum.
Uh-huh.
Who said great player had a bad day and said it to us
He wants to
like
get
5
dinner
times.
with Tannehill. He wants
Loves
to spend
Tannehill.
time with Tannehill.
The local media that tells us about his cap number being too high.
Uh-huh.
And then we, like Robinson, Vrabel, and Caroline said don't throw the players in there because
they have to be members of the Boohoo Tannehill crew. They have no choice.
And I think I've decided that she's right.
Yeah, she's right. I mean, players are going to defend their teammates no matter what. I don't read anything into teammates, saying nice things about the quarterback because very few teammates have ever come out publicly and trashed a quarterback or said they should go get someone else. So I don't look into that at all. And I'll also say this. Caroline said, Chris Sanders wanted to go to dinner with Ryan Tannehill. Say what you want about Aaron Rodgers, and if you agree or disagree with a lot of his opinions, who would be more interesting at dinner even? Ryan Tannehill or Aaron Rodgers? If you
I take Aaron Rodgers all day.
You know what's crazy? We talked about this.
It's not even a contest. It's not a contest. It's
all
quarterback
day.
Play, and I would much rather go have a dinner conversation and sip on fine scotch with Aaron Rodgers than sit there with Ryan Tannehill.
So this is none of my business, honestly. And I know, when I used to work with Floyd, how the idea of bringing in a player to sell tickets is just ridiculous, which I understand. But we were going through the schedule next year, and Dallas plays here and Cincinnati plays here, and the Titans go to Kansas City, Buffalo, and Green Bay. If Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, the Titans are literally getting the Tony Romo, Jim Nantz game every week, or they're on Sunday Night Football. And I'm like, if you're Amy Adams Strunk, and again, not that you would go to John Robinson and say, hey, I have the opportunity to make my franchise so much more valuable in terms of like a television product or interesting or from selling tickets or season tickets or whatever you want to call it. But there is an element of that I realized the Titans missed out on when Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay instead of coming here.
Yeah, there's a huge marketability factor. Locally, sure, selling tickets, all that. And I don't think the Titans are having as big of a problem selling tickets as they once had.
Sure.
But it would be a boost in that. But nationally, it's not even close. I remember having this discussion when Peyton Manning was, considering the Titans and signing with them and having this argument with Paul Kuharsky about just how big Peyton Manning would be, not just nationally, but in the state of Tennessee, given the standing of Peyton Manning in the state of Tennessee if he was a Titan. Aaron Rodgers, has the same effect. And let's add to it, not just Aaron Rodgers being on the team. And there's not a given that you're going to go to the Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl if you get Aaron Rodgers. The Packers were the number one seed. They went down in their first playoff game also.
Sure.
But if you get Aaron Rodgers and you win the AFC or you get to the game and win a Super Bowl, how valuable is that to your franchise long term if that were to happen? Either way, the marketability is through the roof with Aaron Rodgers, compared to Ryan Tannehill. And I'm with you, Jared. You don't make decisions based on that if you're in front office and player personnel. But if I'm the owner of a team, you're darn right I'm looking into that factor, and it's a big one with Aaron Rodgers.
And that's the other thing. Last thing for you, because I know you got to hop off. But that's the other thing here is that when we put out this rumor and all of a sudden, or we put out, the news, all of a sudden, like everybody around the country's talking about it. You don't think the owners of the Titans are thinking, hey, what if we had Aaron?
It's a possibility.
Hey, John, did you hear this story? I think there's a part of that to all of this that gets things going and things talking and things like that.
Well, if we're talking about this right now on Nashville radio and everyone in media in Nashville is either talking about it or deflecting the story in some way, you are absolutely correct that people in Titans front office, ownership, general manager, even if they don't want to be talking about it, they're talking about it or they're being asked about it. So, yes, it throws flags up everywhere with everyone around the Titans that they're taking a look at this because everyone else is taking a look at it.
Chad Withrow with us. Hold that thought.
Yep.
Hold that thought. Chad Withrow with us, 615-737-1025, presented by Apple Collision Centers. Chad, appreciate you, brother.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, guys. Always fun.
Yep. Chad Withrow joining us on the program. I actually went to the Louisville basketball game with Chad on Saturday.
Nice.
We had fun. He and Angie and, we all went to the game, and Louisville played hard, which I was
Go
happy
Cardinals.
For.
Good old college try.
We had some great seats. We watched the game. Great time. So always good to talk
Memories
to Chad.
are all that matters.
I do think there are a lot of people that once Chad got back into that once they got, whatever, that they were stunned that Chad and I are actually friends. But I love having him on the show. Let's. I got some thoughts on some of the things that we discussed. I want to do that next on the Rodgers front. 615-737-1025. Let me tell you about Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I absolutely love Hiller. They take great care of my home, and I promise you that they can take great care of yours. Hiller has extended their lower 2021 pricing through January to help customers tackle necessary replacements. Because there was so much demand, they're going to extend the special for another month. It'll be the lowest pricing expected all year. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves everywhere, and now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, generators are all going to be extremely limited in 2022. And because of supply issues and rising costs of parts, manufacturers are rapidly increasing the price of this equipment. If you need a replacement, call my friends at Hiller today. Do not wait until you're out of options. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or Services Free guarantee, and you can learn more at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Preds, the Vols, and Vandy. Hiller, call the Happy Face truck today.
Jump in the mind of an NHL veteran as Predators analyst Hal Gill joins Stillman & Company Tuesday afternoons at 5:30.
Here they are in a pressure situation every night because they need 2 points.
And Robbie and Rexroad Thursday mornings at 9:30.
Goaltending, I think it might be an issue at some point.
Presented by Duncan on Smashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's going on? It's me, Chase McCabe, here to talk about it. You guessed it, BetMGM. And I love a good parlay. And my friends at BetMGM want to help you win when you build those parlays. Sign up for BetMGM, and you can find out why they are the king of parlays. Use one game parlay to make multiple selections within a single game from hundreds of betting options. How about supercharging your payout for even more winnings? Try Parlay Boost. Or maybe you're fearless and want to take a shot at a parlay generator. Sign up on the BetMGM app or the website using the code 1025GAME, and your first bet will be risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
If you're on the job day in and day out, living with pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders is miserable. The good news, QC Kinetics gets it. They understand guys like you.
They don't have the luxury of taking time off. They want to keep working. We are built for those guys that want to keep working and want to stay active. So the vast majority of who we see are the blue-collar guys like me and you.
QC Kinetics uses biologic therapies, just like pro athletes have used for years, to get you lasting pain relief with no surgery.
I want you to continue working. I want you to continue exercising. The joints are made to be moved.
The treatments at QC Kinetics are fast and non-invasive.
It's not a lot of time commitment on your part. There is no downtime or recovery time. You don't need short-term disability with what we do. We want to keep you active.
Call QC Kinetics now to set up your free no-obligation consultation. Learn how you can get real pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Saturday.
Feels inside, muscles it up and in.
Wheeler, left hand, right side. It's a classic battle between two rivals as Duke takes on North Carolina. Coverage begins at 4:45
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
How do you think that whole thing is landing right now, and what are you hearing from around the league when everybody's drunk at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, the Nashville thing was interesting because, if he's buying a house, and first of all, he's 38 years old, so buying a house after he leaves Green Bay and retires, or whenever he's done with the NFL, whichever team he's playing for, that makes sense. Sounds like Nashville is quite a hot place to live. And I know that because when I was down there for the draft, and I basically called my wife and said, this is the greatest place ever, we should move here. And she started looking at real estate, and oh my God, she wanted to move there. Yesterday. But it didn't happen. So Nashville makes a lot of sense.
Hey, NFL Network, can you pay this
one
time? I mean, geez.
No, anyway. Nashville's a lovely place. You walk around, there's music coming out of the bars, yes, and everyone's drinking. I mean, they have a lot of bachelor parties there, it seems, which is not really for me, but some people like that kind of thing.
Sure.
I don't know that has any material influence on anything as far as where he plays. Like, I guess it is possible that he asked for a trade. It is possible, and I honestly do not know what he's going to do.
There you go. That was Ian Rappaport of the Pat McAfee Show. By the way, not to say that I feel like I'm owed anything, because somebody at some point would have reported that Aaron Rodgers was building a house in Nashville. Mm-hmm. But how much has this week done for the profile of Nashville? Especially you, Williamson County.
I feel like Williamson County should cut you a check.
By the way, all the people that are mad, and this does chap my rear end, so don't think it doesn't. But the people that are mad, to Chad's point, about how people don't want to talk about this story or acknowledge it because I'm the one who reported it, the amount of, you can tell that someone really doesn't like me when or is jealous of me having this when they talk about how I accidentally confused Franklin with Brentwood. You know what I mean? Like, when you make it a big deal, that tells me more about you being petty than it does about
it's in the same
story.
county.
Which, again, it still chaps my bum that I didn't get it right. But
it's in the same county.
But I mean, the gist of it. But you hear all these people that are like, oh, yeah, Franklin is just so nice. And, oh, yeah, that's where Kid Rock lives there. And, oh, all these famous people live there.
Franklin is nice.
It is nice. Ian lives there.
Yeah.
But I do think that, hey, there's a lot of this that's going on.
Yeah,
Brentwood's nice, too.
They don't need a whole lot of marketing right now to get people to move to Williamson County. I will say that.
Well, I just gave them more, so there you go.
Oh, good.
Now,
my rent just went sky high.
Something that we just talked to Chad about, which I do wonder. So I cannot, yesterday, and I love TD with all of my heart, and I don't think there's anybody who has, I don't think there's anybody that I'd rather have talking about the draft now that Floyd's not with us anymore than TD. I mean, he put so much time into it. But when he was talking about those quarterbacks at the draft, I thought I was going to fall over and fall asleep because I just do not care. I cannot get myself to care about drafting a young quarterback and having to live with Matt Corral will play next year, or so, like the
this just isn't a very exciting quarterback draft. Like last year, we were talking
But
about.
if it was, you wouldn't be able to get one at 26.
Right. Like last year, we were talking about Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones. Like those were big time names.
But we were still talking about like Trey Lance. Like, who cares?
I mean, I thought last year's quarterback draft was much more interesting to talk about than this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, duh.
I mean, I understand that Kenny Pickett was a Heisman finalist, but like, yawn. And I understand that Desmond Ridder played in a college football playoff game, but like, don't care.
But is it the quarterbacks or is it the fact that like we'd rather talk about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson?
Well, we'd rather talk about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, but I love the draft every year.
Like, I do not. Well, we'll get into the draft. I mean,
Yes,
don't
of
think that
course.
we won't care about the draft. Now, if the Titans deal their first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers and then they have no first or second-round pick, we probably won't care about the draft as much. But
I am curious how
as much.
Yeah.
I am curious how John Robinson is as a quarterback drafter and talent evaluator, because we haven't really seen him have to do that. He made the Tannehill move, which turned out to be a pretty good move. He's drafted Luke Falk and Old McDonald late in the draft. But other than that, I mean, he hasn't really had to prove himself as a QB talent evaluator. I would like to see that.
I mean, so you're not counting Luke Falk and Cole McDonald as the breakdown of how Robinson can draft
The quarterbacks?
Yes.
I'm going to try not to hold him to that, yes.
Okay, I would go with that too. That's a fair point about Robinson.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't give two poops if you get Aaron Rodgers, if he's a good quarterback drafter or not. Elway sucks at it. Paxton Lynch, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco. Who is the other crap bum they had? Simeon. I couldn't give two poops if you can get Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. I don't give two poops. That's like, again, going over the plan, which I kept this year. The Friday before free agency, I did a breakdown as to what my offseason plan would be. And, it's got, lower Ben Jones's base salary, restructure Tannehill $6 million, Lawan $5.8 million, let Corey Davis, Jayon Brown walk, sign Trey Hendrickson, Dietrich Wise, Parnell McPhee, Desmond King, Gerald Everett, Marvin Jones Jr. Like, I can't get excited about this right now. Because if Tannehill's the quarterback, it's like, whatever. And I think a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of people feel that way, even though the only vocal people we hear from are the boohoo Tannehill crewers.
It's going to be so incredibly defeating if Ryan Tannehill does end up being the quarterback of the Titans, and I do think he will.
Oh, yeah. It's
like you get all your excitement up, your hopes are climbing, and then it's like, oh, so we're doing the same thing we did last year? Cool. All right, great.
Okay, what % chance Tannehill's the quarterback?
80.
Ian?
80 sounds pretty good. 75, 80, somewhere around there.
Oh, I think you guys are on crack.
You think it's 99?
Oh, like 95. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, come on.
I don't know. I'm still holding out hope.
Oh, I
could
too.
See. Yeah, I could
That's
see
my 5%.
90s. Yeah, I could see the 90s. I mean, 1 in 10, maybe they make a move, something like that.
All I know is I just want some more
I want more tea.
But I can't get excited
I'm
about
gonna
the
get into
draft.
like the depths of the internet to see like who is Aaron Rodgers following on Instagram. Like, did he just follow?
So you want to go full on NBA tea?
Why not?
Because that's what that is.
Why not?
I was watching.
I'm gonna go full on FBI agent.
I was watching the East-West Shrine game last night.
I know you were.
And honestly, I'm like, either all these guys suck, or these guys might be pretty good, and I just don't know. And so I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is great to put this on in prime time. Like, I bet you the ratings around the country for the East-West Shrine game are actually going to be pretty good because it's football. People love football.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, who the hell ever played the East-West Shrine game? They go down onto the field, and they're like, we're talking with, Bobby Joe down here, who is the head of the shrine, whatever, and they're talking about cancer research. And while I'm 100% pro-cancer research,
as you should be.
I'm just not interested. Like, put the game back. I don't know who these players are. So they're playing, like, when they're talking to someone on the sideline and they show the plays while it's going on. I don't know who any of these players are. So can we please get the broadcasters back in there? And I'm thinking, so who's ever played in this game that's any good? They're like, and I hear that we're putting in our first Hall of Fame, East-West Shrine Hall of Fame member this year. Yes, Tom Brady played in this game in 2000, and I was like, okay, well, I guess some good players.
Heard of that guy before.
So
Heard
Jack Cohn, Notre Dame, looked all right.
All right.
Now, I think he kind of stunk as a quarterback in Notre Dame, but he looked all right.
Most quarterbacks kind of stunk at Notre Dame.
Okay, But see, that's what Floyd did with Cal quarterbacks because of Jeff Tedford and Kyle Bowler and all these other guys, and that's how everybody missed on Aaron Rodgers, so don't be thinking like that.
Well, I'm thinking about that through a different lens.
There you go. 615-737-1025. I got some personal news I want to share with the audience that we'll do that coming up next. If you really hate me, and I know some of you do, tune out because you're not going to like what you hear next. Plus, we've got some Pro Bowl bets to get into as well. Hey, go to theGameNashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. Nashville's best deal of the week is the Mainstay Bar and Grill in East Nashville. The Mainstay is located at 501 Main Street and is your local spot to enjoy all your sports along with great food and friends with over 25 TVs, 20 taps, and nightly events like trivia, karaoke, and much more. Go to theGameNashville.com to get a $30 gift card half off to the Mainstay while supplies last. Check out all the best deals now at theGameNashville.com/deals.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
Calmer weather carries us into the weekend. Overnight, mainly clear. Cold, though. Temperatures will be in the upper teens to low 20s. Tomorrow, middle 30s for your highs and bright sunshine. Sun continues on Sunday with a high right near 50 degrees. Calm Saturday and Sunday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face truck today.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. I need you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We're offering some exciting new menu items. We have Grandma's famous chicken and dumpling soup. We're offering a fun and new exciting Nashville hot battered shrimp. We're also very excited about our confit chicken hash. Join us in Kitchen Notes for our award-winning patty melt made with our house-made pimento cheese, local Blackhawk Farms beef patty. Come join us in Kitchen Notes and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Lunch at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey, what's going on? Chase McCabe here to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Dr. Rice, is it true that according to the American Dental Association, roughly 80% of people in the U.S. have some form of gum disease?
That's right, but our non-surgical periodontal therapy is painless and effective in keeping your mouth healthy. And the mouth is the window to the health of the rest of the body.
I know you have some different things that you offer. What else can you tell us?
Well, first, who doesn't want whiter teeth? Our new Zoom LED whitening system is less sensitive, and you get more than 5 shades of whitening. And we just upgraded both our lasers to kill bacteria during your cleaning.
What about taking care of cold sores some people may have, which can become painful? Can lasers help with that too?
Yes, the gentle laser setting will kill the virus in your cold sores all naturally while reducing the healing time by half. And our special soft tissue wand uses warm, light laser therapy to give instant relief to severe TMJ pain. Our approach to holistic dentistry is unique.
Give Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine a call today at 615-373-4488 or visit kellyerice.com. You'll certainly be glad you did.
Attention veterans of Middle Tennessee. Little Guys Movers wants to put your hard-earned skills and leadership talent to work with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. Be your own boss and build a team with standards as high as your own, and all while serving your community with the same hustle that you served your country. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Start a fulfilling, profitable new chapter of your life as a member of a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com.
Jackson Hewitt needs you to know 3 things about filing taxes this year. 1, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits on the table. 2, you have to file for them to make sure you get the right amount. 3, a Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help track down every credit you deserve. Tax credits for being a parent, taking care of a parent, going to school, and so much more. You don't want to miss out on thousands. Jackson Hewitt knows that. Discover thousands in tax credits and get your biggest refund guaranteed. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Credibility.
Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Relatability.
False start. 5-yard penalty.
And very little athletic ability.
You got to open up the playbook.
Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe are Darren, Donick, and Chase. Weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Boy, we've had a week around here.
Seriously, this has been a whirl. I feel like I've been drinking sports news like from a fire hydrant.
It started at like 10 p.m. on Saturday when I called you, and I was like, I got some tea.
Yeah.
I was like, Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Nashville. Then I told you something else that I haven't shared with the audience because I can't.
True.
And Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Nashville, and we're going to break the story. And then we were going to break it on Tuesday, and then Tom Brady retired, and I'm not sure why I cared enough about that to make me move this story, but I did.
Well, we didn't know that it was going to cause this sort of stink.
Oh, I knew it would.
Oh.
I knew that it would have some juice to it.
Oh, it definitely has juice.
And so, yeah. So then we've spent the last 12 hours talking about Aaron Rodgers to the Titans. So I'm going to need a nice little 2 days of detoxing on Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully something will happen between now and then that will allow us to spend all of next week talking about the quarterback position in Aaron Rodgers. But I did want to say this because I do feel like this audience has been with me through thick and thin. And again, it's not about me. It's about everybody else. And I have actually known this for a long time, and so has Caroline, and so has everybody else. But next week at 6 o'clock, I will be done with the Stillman and Company show, and I will be on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. I've accepted a part-time position there, so I'll be filling in a lot during their daily lineup, and I'll also have my own weekend show at a time to be determined on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio, Channel 82. That's why every time that we've played a clip from the Pat McAfee show over the last 6 months, we've played the clip, and I'm like, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, Sirius XM, great channel, is because I knew that I was in talks to join them on a part-time basis. It has absolutely nothing that is going to change my job here. If you don't subscribe to Sirius XM, I would say do it. Knock yourself out. But also, if you don't feel bad about it, because you can always listen to us here, and this show will not change in any capacity, any form, any way, any such how. But I haven't tweeted about this. I really haven't talked publicly about this at all. But so I felt like the audience should get to know first. I think one of the encouraging things when I interviewed for the job, which was, a couple interviews, and then we did an hour-long test show where it was during the World Series, and I remember because my topic that day was a topic that we use later on the show. So my topic was about Arizona going to playing Green Bay, and if they win this game against Green Bay, then they wouldn't have to go to Lambeau in the playoffs and whatever, and then we ended up talking about that day. And I say all this because the thing that really got me, that I was, as I was getting ready to do it, I got a message from Floyd's family. And they said, the big man would be so proud of you. And they would say, as Floyd would say to Sean, good luck, fat boy, don't mess up. And I corrected them, and I said, I was the chunky fella. That was the nickname that I always had, was good luck, chunky fella. So I always felt like
that's endearing.
I felt like he kind of played, that there was a big role in all this, and I really wish, honestly, that when I got this opportunity and it was all in the works, and I was kind of keeping it secret from everybody here until it was time to tell them, and I really wish I could go tell him, hey, chunky fella's on Sirius XM National Radio, but I know that he had a big role in all of this, from where we started to where we are now. And I think the listenership of this show, which I don't know if you saw Twitter today, I'm not afraid to flex the Stillman and Company listenership, but it's significantly higher than anything that really had ever been done here before. And we keep on moving up the bar and keep on pushing ourselves. And really, really thankful to everybody here that allowed me to grow as a radio host to give me this opportunity. So I'm pretty excited. So it'll start next Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. So I'm really, really excited about that. And back to the Aaron Rodgers talk or whatever have you, but I did want to tell the audience that first.
I'm sure Sirius will appreciate all of the Aaron Rodgers tea.
Well, in all fairness, I mean, and I haven't listened to Mad Dog this week to see what he's been saying, and I do love Mad Dog.
Yeah.
I think his talent is unbelievable in the fact that he can just go off on his consciousness for an entire radio show. I have to think about what I'm going to say. He just says it. I'm just not that good. But I do wonder what he said about it. But the Pat McAfee show has really enjoyed this tea.
That they have.
And we've enjoyed them talking about us. And so, in a couple weeks, I'll be doing a show that leads into McAfee. So
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
It's a very well-deserved opportunity. I know you're going to kill it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. And that's why I said if you don't like me, don't listen, because you probably don't want to hear that.
Or maybe they will. Maybe people just want to be so mad at the world that they'll just get pissed off by listening to you even more.
There may be some truth to that. Before we get to the Pro Bowl edition of Caroline's, my buddy texted me and said, I see your angle. You're trying to get enough people talking about Aaron Rodgers that the Titans will then realize they have to go get him. You are willing it into existence and putting pressure on the front office. That wasn't really my goal.
But if it happens.
But I do think that there is now more discussion. It's like Chad Withrow said, that he thinks they're definitely talking about it. And, yeah.
But that's my question is they're probably talking about it now because everyone's talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it.
But were they talking or thinking about it before?
I don't know. But you know they're talking about it now.
They're talking about it now.
And
that's
all
that
that
matters.
matters. Give me some Pro Bowl Carolines, please.
All right. Well, AFC is currently favored by -1.5.
Ooh, Vrabel the favorite.
I'm taking the AFC. The AFC has a stacked roster, and I would say the only area in which the NFC has the advantage is probably at wide receiver. They have Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Mike Evans, Justin Jefferson. The AFC, though, still has a pretty solid lineup. Tyreek Hill, Deontay Johnson, Stephon Diggs, Hunter Renfrow, Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen.
Roger
Saffold. And Roger Saffold as
well. By the
well.
way, did you see Tyreek Hill got smoked?
I did see that last night. That's what I was watching last night was a lot of the wide receiver drills, and it was pretty fun. But better quarterbacks on the AFC side. At AFC quarterbacks starting Justin Herbert, which is pretty exciting. NFC, I believe, starting Kyler Murray. So give me the AFC. I think they have more star power on the AFC side.
Vrabel's not starting Mac Jones?
I did not think he was starting Mac Jones, but Mac Attack might come out and do something spectacular.
Now, here's a question for the Pro Bowl. If Downing goes out there and lights up the scoreboard, then will the boohoo Tannehill crew stop complaining about Todd Downing?
Because all of Ryan Tannehill's weapons were injured all season long. So what do you expect him to do, Jared?
Including the Cincinnati game, the one that we're all mad about?
Well, that one doesn't count. That was just one game.
We can't make a micro evaluation off of one game.
Nope.
For the boohoo Tannehill crew.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something the Titans put out that said Mike Vrabel's enjoying his role at the Pro Bowl this week as the coach, and all I can think about is when the Ravens beat the Patriots, and I covered this game. The Ravens beat the Patriots in 2013, and Terrell Suggs was walking down the tunnel into the locker room and was like, tell him have fun at the Pro Bowl! Tell him have fun at the Pro Bowl! Just over and over again, and it's like Vrabel having a good time as the head coach of the Pro Bowl, and all I can hear is Terrell Suggs, have fun at the Pro Bowl! Tell him have fun at the Pro Bowl!
Well, because I think there is no greater honor in the NFL than to not play in the Pro Bowl because you're a little busy.
Oh, yes.
A little busy with another bowl.
Yes. Good week from everybody. Ian of Specially Caroline. That's going to do it for us. We are out of here. Talking with TD. We'll be talking. The president of the Boohoo Tannehill crew, Chris Sanders.
Chris Sanders.
Talking with TD. We'll see you Monday.